Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie, yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another edition of Crime and Sports. Crazy and wild as always, and we always have a good time here. And we're coming out of the brain damage sports. We've had a run of brain damage sports, and today we're going back into a rash. A rash is the best way to describe it, because Conor McGregor is a rash.
He really is.
That man's a rash on the taint of society. Yeah. My taint is just, man, it's uncomfortable. That's him right there with his beard.
Orange and bumpy.
And we're getting into baseball this week, and we have a very, very famous, very good old-time ball player here. So some good stuff here, and we'll get to that. First of all, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to live shows. August the 12th, we're going to be in Chicago doing Small Town Murder. It is going to be a Chicago-only live show. It's the only time.
That's a big deal.
We're going to do it live this year. Yeah. Normally, we do them a few times. So get over there. It's going to be our biggest show ever. Shutupandgivememurder.com is the way that's said. There you go. Get in there and get your tickets right now. We're very excited for that. And a few others. What do we have? Like Atlanta, Dallas. I think DC sold out now. Philly, Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else is sold out. Get your tickets and get in there and come see a live show.
Let's go.
You certainly want Patreon, don't you? Yes, you do. Yeah. Patreon.com/crime and sports. You want the bonus stuff. You get a whole back catalog of bonus episodes. What does it take? $5 a month.
That's it.
Cup of coffee. You can have all these bonus episodes. Every other week, you're going to get 2 new episodes. Mm-hmm. This week is no different. 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder. This week for crime and sports, what we're going to talk about, I don't know if this is really sports related. I guess you could sort of put it like that, but theme park disasters. I don't know. Maybe someone was doing something athletic while they had their head cut off at a theme park, right? I don't know. We'll talk about that. It's going to
call it a punt.
It's something. And then for a launching of, it's sort of a. It's an athletic feat,
trajectory,
I guess. Yeah. To be thrown 700 feet by a roller coaster. I mean, that's pretty athletic. I don't know. You're flying, really. For Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about prison riots. Some of the wildest prison riots and the most murdery prison riots we can come up with here. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you can get all of that and more. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you do that. And wow, let's see here. We got a fun episode. Let's get right to it. What do you say, Jimmie?
Okay.
All right, let's get into this. Okay, like I said, a famous baseball player. I guess if you're not like a baseball fan, you probably don't know who this person is. But if you know anything about baseball, you go, oh, yeah, that guy he's a fucking legend. So it's Vida Blue. You know Vida Blue. You know Vida, right?
Everybody's heard the name,
Yeah, Vida Blue. Vida Rochelle is his middle name.
Is that right?
Rochelle, like a chick from Jersey.
Yeah.
With big hair. Rochelle, what? We're going to the bar. All right, I'll be there. Hold on. I'm teasing my hair more. Hold on, I'll be right there. Right, Rochelle. That's it.
It's also a very southern girl's name.
It is. It's Vida Rochelle Blue Jr., of course.
Is that right?
Of course.
There's 2 people with that name.
There absolutely is 2 people in the world with that name, and because Senior is there. Unbelievable, though. The run of juniors.
It's crazy. It started a long time ago.
Wow. We started noticing about, episode 25. We were like, a lot of these guys are junior, right? Ha. Yeah. Statistical anomaly. Just happened to be the guys we covered then. Then by episode 50, we're like, no, this is real. This is real. We're going to really keep an eye on this. By episode 150, we're like, oh, don't ever name your kid Junior. Just don't do it. If you're a junior,
Yeah.
And now it's
There's
just
a
like
curse involved.
now it's just hilarious because it's constant.
Vida Rochelle Blue
Jr. Senior. Well, let's talk about Senior
There's
in a minute here.
Senior.
There is a Senior. So I don't know if they named him after his grandma or what the hell happened, but it's weird.
It's got to be a family thing, right?
I would assume so. I mean, because his dad's born. We'll talk about it. His dad is born in the in the 20s in Alabama.
Right.
I don't know what the deal is. So he's born Vida himself here, Vida Jr. July 28th, 1949, in Mansfield, Louisiana.
Oh.
Yeah. He's his family. They come from some Southern roots and had some hard times down there, as you can imagine, and we'll talk about here. He really, what a career this fucking guy had. So this is a fun story. So
who did he play for? Well,
a bunch of people, but the A's. He was part of the early A's dynasty.
Was he part of the Mets
the
too?
Giants for a long time because he was the Giants like hired him afterwards, and that was kind of his post baseball career. Also, like Rod knew Vida Blue. I have a couple of things from Rod that like Vida would say. There's like at the end, we'll talk about it, but he has on his uniform, instead of his last name, he had Vida on his jersey.
Really?
For a long time, yeah.
First name.
Reporters asked him why, and we'll talk about it, but I have the real reason why, because this is what he told the players, so I assume that's more real than what he told the press. You know what I mean? So it's fucking hilarious. I can't wait for that one. So his parents, Vida Blue Sr., and his mom is Sally Blue.
Oh,
Sally Blue sounds like somebody that Chuck Berry would write a song about, Old Sally Blue with a guitar riff after it. Sally Blue.
Sounds like the brand name of some butter.
Yeah. Ooh, get that Sally Blue butter.
Pass the Sally Blue.
Hey, fuck that Land O'Lakes shit. Get the Sally Blue. Shit's way better. It's creamier. So, Vida Blue Sr. was born in 1920 in Alabama. It had a real rough. His mother, Vida Blue's Senior's mother's name was Sally. Her name was Sally, and he married a woman named Sally, which sounds very confusing.
That is extremely, because they were both alive at the same time. That's extremely confusing.
That would be very confusing, I would imagine. So they were married September 14th, 1949. Vida Blue Sr. and Vida Blue's mother, Sally, were born. So they got married a couple months after Vida was born.
Oh.
So, yeah, which in the 40s, that was like, oh, God, unmarried. Holy shit, that's wild. It's too much. Yeah. Sally, mom, worked as a farmer. Actually, we'll talk about here. This is, okay, Vida Sr. we'll talk about here. Vida Sr. was the fifth child of 8.
Shit.
Which is in Alabama in 1920.
Yeah.
And they were farmers. Rough life. Rough life. All sorts of he had all these brothers and sisters, and they all had a hard life. In 1942, Vida, as crazy as this sounds, if you were like a sharecropping guy in Alabama in 1942, the World War II is the greatest thing to happen to you because it was somewhere to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, somewhere dangerous and whatever. It's not ideal, but they looked at it, a lot of these people, as a way to get out of where they are.
Yeah, and farming ain't necessarily safe.
No, that's the other thing.
You're not taking strays over your head every day, but
especially if you're
still dangerous.
If you're not wealthy and you're getting by barely, working outside all day, that's going to break your body down. So
steel tools, not machines. You're really working.
At least this, when you come home, you get the GI Bill and you can go do whatever you want at that point, or at least have a lot more options than sharecropping.
Yeah.
So, he enlisted in the Army, Vida Sr., in October 42, and he only finished grammar school, Vida Sr., and then he worked as a farmhand after that. So, from the time he was about 12, he was a farmhand, and so he was happy to go into the Army. He couldn't wait to sign up for it. So, he was a private, obviously. They got married here, and he ends up, Vida Sr. and his mom, they have 6 children altogether. So Vida Jr. is one of 6, and he was working as a laborer at a foundry, Vida Sr., to support the family, and ends up suffering from black lung disease.
Holy shit.
Jesus, what a fucking life, man.
That's just life kicking you in the balls every day, trying so hard. And
it sucks to be born in Alabama in 1920 when you're black, number one. That sucks.
Yeah,
and then number two, you go to a war. World War II wasn't easy. And then you come home and quickly get black lung disease in 20 years. and die. He's dead by 1966.
Is that? Oh, fuck.
46 years old this man lived to. That's it. From the black lung. That's how hard he worked.
Oh, my God.
Dunn got the black lung. That's not good.
Life killed him at 46.
Wore his body out at 46 to just threw it to the side of the road. That's crazy.
Yoga people will be like, your body's resilient. It can take a lot. No, it fucking can't.
Can't take the black lung. It can take a lot of working in a cubicle and like from home on Fridays and then like going to yoga and going to the gym in the morning. Yeah. It can probably take a lot of gluten, but it sure can't take the black lung. That's a different level of everything. Not a lot of people now going, well, got the black lung and going down at 46. It's just
46 years old.
46. Jesus Christ. Now, Vida Jr. here, our guy, he said Mansfield was still segregated growing up for him. So there was a white high school and a black high school, and obviously he attended the black high school, DeSoto High. He played baseball and football. And he's a really good athlete, as we'll find out. He could throw a baseball really hard and also a football really well, too. He's a lefty.
Right out of the gate.
And,
awesome.
Yeah, he's got a cannon for an arm. I mean, he's an athletic guy with a cannon for an arm. So when he went to high school, the school did not have a baseball team because it's a segregated school. They didn't have any money for a baseball team. They didn't have a baseball team, but the principal saw what a great player Vida Blue was and said, we have to figure out a way to form a team around this kid. This poor
got to use whatever he's got. That's awesome.
Yeah, we can't let this kid not be able to play baseball and go, wow, this is crazy. You know what I mean? If it would be like somebody great at physics, you don't have a physics department. We need to figure something out.
Sorry about it, kid.
Get someone in here who knows physics to talk to this kid because this is crazy. So they built a team around him.
Wow.
Strictly for him. That's how good he is. Wow. Yeah. We got to get uniforms. This kid can really throw. He gets attention.
Hey, how much are bats?
Yeah, we can get a couple of them, right? We're sharing bats, everybody. Be careful.
Yeah.
Don't swing too hard. So he does all of this. He gets the attention of scouts from this, obviously, and which back then there was hundreds and thousands of scouts crawling around because they had to look at all of the high schools. They had to find guys in these like little leagues, you know what I mean? These little weird leagues that they played in back in the day, and all these scouts looked everywhere back then.
And a lot of these towns just had a tiny little school of so many people, but I mean, to have a baseball team, it's got to be fairly big, I guess. But even still, you got to find the little schools with the little, because that's sometimes hidden talents there.
That's it. And they would scour like newspapers from small towns looking for write-ups on some kid who throws real hard, and then I'm going to go take a ride out there and take a look at him. And sometimes he's great, and sometimes he's garbage, and who the hell knows? So he's really good. Anyway, the scouts are looking at him. The Kansas City A's are very interested in him. At the time, Kansas City, obviously. Then will be Oakland, and then who the fuck knows from now on? We don't know where they're going to go. Who knows? So he's a really good quarterback and defensive back on the football team as well.
Okay. Quarterback and like safety, free safety, shit like that? Cornerback?
Cornerback or defensive back. Yeah, he could be a safety or a corner or whatever. So what his coach said, quote, Blue was one of those quarterbacks who lived dangerously, meaning I guess he ran around and scrambled. Yep. His coach Baldwin, said most of the time he wouldn't see the touchdown because he'd be flat on his back. He'd throw the ball but get hit after he threw it, so he wouldn't even know what happened. They said he ran the ball the whole second half one game. Every play we had the ball except when we punted, he ran. So he was just running after a while because they couldn't catch him. He won a game. He was talking about winning 13-0, just Blue running constantly. They said he was hurt a couple times during high school. Once his right arm was stepped on, which that sounds painful with cleats on. And the other time he had a back strain playing football. But otherwise he was very healthy. He kicked ass in his senior year. He had 3,400 passing yards and scored 35 touchdowns.
Wow.
Passing, and rushed for 1,600 yards. And was the hardest pitching lefty, around too.
Incredible.
He threw a 21 strikeout no-hitter in 7 innings as a senior. But he lost the game.
who cares?
21. He had 10 walks. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So he's wild. If you've ever seen Bull Durham, he's Tim Robbins. You know what I mean? He's Charlie Sheen. He's in Major League. Holy shit, that's terrifying. Hope it doesn't hit me. I'm going to take
in football, you don't have to be laser focused within a 2-foot square box.
An inch.
You know what I mean?
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, and in football, you can lead the player, and if it's within a couple of inches, or a couple of feet, you're fine.
Yeah, you can take somebody's head off in baseball, though. So
right. Kill somebody, shit.
That's really scary. So he was recruited by a ton of major colleges for his football, actually.
Oh.
Notre Dame, Purdue, Houston.
Wow.
Big schools. Houston really recruited him hard, and they were the ones that wanted to let him play quarterback. The other ones were recruiting him as a defensive back. So there wasn't really a lot of black quarterbacks back then at all. And
probably any.
In certain schools, but not at Notre Dame or schools like that. So he, Houston was going to let him play college, let him play quarterback. His father died during his senior year of high school, and he decided, though, that he needed to support his family because his father died, so college wasn't in the plans. So he would.
Oh, that is so fucked.
Well, so he signed a contract with the A's instead. So baseball, you sign, they give you money right now, whereas college, you got to play for 4 years.
Yeah, he could have been the first Michael Vick, though. We don't know.
Yeah,
Lefty
but
that can scramble like that.
In the 70s, you didn't get much of a chance for that till Doug Williams, really. Doug Williams was the first guy. There's a couple guys, the Broncos guy, the Norris guy, but they let him play like 2 games, and a couple other guys. It was the first guy who really was like, you're the starter, was Doug Williams, and that was in 79.
The Michael Vick
78.
Quarterback in the 70s with the Steelers the way they were, with the Raiders.
You would have gotten murdered.
Fucking murdered.
Yeah, you couldn't run like that.
We would have had a death on the field.
You would have gotten killed. You were allowed to really pop guys and late and everything else.
Internal bleeding.
Yeah, you were asking for trouble if you were doing that. That wasn't a thing that existed back then. I mean,
he made the right move.
I think for him, Christ, he had a great career too. Screw it. Football back then was not what it is now.
No.
You know what I mean? And got paid like shit too. So he ends up being selected by the Kansas City A's in the second round of the 67 draft.
Oh.
So that's not bad at all. He's offered a 2-year contract at, here are the terms, Jimmy. This is it's gonna cash in now, baby. Big money. $12,500 per year. 12.5, baby.
$25,000 for 2 years.
2 years. Yep.
Holy.
He said he had a stronger desire to play football. He wanted to play football. He liked football better than baseball, but he liked money and eating better than starving and playing football. So, which makes sense. So he signs with the A's. He said, this is a quote from Vida, quote, "They did not have a baseball team at DeSoto High School, believe it or not. The principal heard I was good, so they formed a team. The scouts started showing up at my games pretty quick, and that's when I heard about Ray Swallow, a scout for the Kansas City A's. I was wild in one game. I threw a no-hitter but lost because I had 10 walks." Okay. Some people said I was better at football. I played QB and a bunch of big colleges wanted me. I wanted to go to Houston University to play football, but my dad died during my senior year, so I decided to go for the money. I got picked by the Kansas City A's and signed a 2-year contract for $12.5 a year. Shit, man. That's crazy for back then. Wait till you hear how cheap the A's are with him. It's insane. They're so cheap. Charlie Finley's known to be the cheapest fuck ever. The owner of the A's. He's the guy, I don't know if everybody knows who Charlie Finley is, but Charlie O. Finley, he's the owner of the A's. He was the owner of a lot of things. He owned an ABA team. Yeah. He owned all these different sports ventures and just a cheap weirdo. He was the guy. The A's have those bright yellow and green uniforms because he wanted them to stand out. He just wanted them to be brightly colored, so he gave them those uniforms. That's all he cared about. He was the guy who had yellow baseballs, glow-in-the-dark yellow baseballs for night games. What? He had the little thing pop up out of the ground to hand the umpire ball. Like all these weird gimmicks he would do. Basically like a guy who owned a single-A baseball team, but he owned a Major League Baseball team and wanted to be cheap about it. He didn't pay his players. He had a dynasty and just dismantled it so he didn't have to pay anybody. Just that kind of guy.
Cheap Savannah bananas.
Cheap, yeah. Well, yeah. He's just a cheap fuck. He when he owned the ABA, there's a story of players would go in to talk about contracts with him, And he would sit him down in the office, and he'd go, yeah, come by for lunch. Come to my office. So they go, oh, okay. And they're thinking they're going to go out to lunch with the owner.
Yeah.
He goes, they'd say, and then he'd get out a hot plate and put it on his desk and go get a can of soup out of a drawer and open it up and heat up a can of soup on a hot plate and then pour a little bit for each of them because that's all he could afford because he was so poor. Meanwhile, he owned all this shit, and he wasn't poor at all, but he wanted to make the player think he was so poor he couldn't afford to give him a raise.
So what are you here for? I wanted to talk about my salary, but this Campbell's soup has me thinking I'm living better than you.
He got like dented off-brand soup cans, and he's like, this is all I can afford. I'm sorry, It's ridiculous.
I'm paying you so well.
Holy shit. Fuck, that's hilarious, man.
I just wanted to check on how the fam's doing. I'm going to go back and play.
I don't know. Take it easy, man. So he heads to Arizona to begin the Winter Instructional League in 67. Yep. He pitched in 9 games, struck out 26 batters, and walked 22 batters. So he's a little wild still here. Yeah. He reports to spring training with the A's for the 68 season. He ends up in Class A, so he's an A-ball after that in the Midwest League. And the Burlington Bees he's playing for. Okay. But on the opening day against the Quad City Angels, he strikes out 17 while giving up only 3 hits over 8 innings. So
that's great.
Yeah, not too bad. And on June 19th, the first game of a doubleheader, he pitched a no-hitter.
Okay.
So that'll get your attention. That kid we just drafted, it's going to get you some attention here. He developed a curveball this season as well to go along with his fastball, which is going to completely screw people into the ground if they're waiting on that fastball. Yeah. So he ends up going 8-11 in his first season within the minors there in 24 games. He struck out 231 in 152 innings, though.
That's awesome.
That is very good. Just put it that way. Extremely good. So he leads the league, obviously, with that. Then in 69, he led the Southern League in strikeouts while he's playing for Birmingham as well. Mm-hmm. So 69, they end up bringing him up to the majors here.
Sure.
But before that, he gets arrested for jaywalking.
What?
Yes. He's with
arrested.
He's with the Quad City minor league team, which is right by Omaha there. So somehow he ends up in Omaha, and later on he talks about getting arrested for jaywalking.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. He said the time that she said, let's see, Vida Blue talked about his brush with the law when he was arrested in Omaha for jaywalking. Jane Kennedy recalled the time she and a hitchhiker. Okay, somebody else. Okay, yeah, from that.
I wish I want to know the story. He had to have had a great story to go with it, right? It's not just stupid, I got arrested for jaywalking, right?
Who the fuck knows? In 1969 in Omaha,
who knows?
You could probably get arrested for having the wrong pants on back then in that town.
Possible, yeah.
Those are some non-Christian pants you got on there, son. Something. Who the fuck knows?
Those are dragging.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that at all.
Get a hem on those, boy.
Let's hem him up. What do you say? We're going to take you down to the pokey, and we'll put you in a uniform and hem up your pants while you wait. It's a 1 hour in and out. So Charlie Finley wanted to bring him up, even though it was very early to bring him up. But he said he wanted to bring him up because he would be a draw, basically. He's this young phenom kid who throws hard. Good. People want to watch that, so why the fuck not? Bring him on up to the A's, and they said that when he first was arrested in Omaha, by the way, on the Omaha arrest, he said, quote, they didn't believe anyone could have the name Vida Blue. The cops didn't believe him when he said his name was Vida fucking Blue, which is funny. So
wait till you hear my middle name.
Yeah, check. Yeah, how about this? Buckle up, son.
Wait till you hear about this last part on the end.
Yeah, well, you knew that, though.
Two of us.
You could tell that right away.
2 of us.
Yeah, interesting, right? 1920, Rochelle. So at least he wasn't Rochelle Vida. That would have been harder on him.
Brutal.
So he's called up in July of that year, makes his major league debut July 20th, starts against the Angels, and he gives up a couple home runs and, does okay, but he gets sent to the bullpen for the rest of the season.
Okay.
He was 1-1, that year. Nothing crazy, but that's okay. Now, Joe DiMaggio was a coach with the A's at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking Joe D was around, and he said of Vida Blue, it was a shame to bring up a kid like that when he hasn't pitched 2 pro years. He throws as hard as anybody, but he hasn't learned to pitch yet. So, yeah, you're hurting the kid by bringing him up too early is what that happens all the time with owners. They get too
destroy his confidence.
Just to sell tickets to 2 games, maybe. Yeah. Sell a few extra tickets to 2 games will destroy this kid. So the 69 A's, they are 88-74 that year. Hank Bauer was one of the managers, by the way. He got fired, but he's one of the managers. Charlie Finley obviously owned that piece of shit team. Sal Bando on that team. Reggie Jackson on that team.
Oh, wow.
This turned into they won a couple World Series in the early 70s. This was a big hot shit team here. So Bert Campaneris, all that whole team. Rick Monday, Catfish Hunter pitching. Blue Moon Odom, who's got obviously one of the greatest names in the history of baseball.
That's a real name.
That's a real name. Blue Moon Odom. Raleigh Fingers, pre-fucking mustache, is on this team. Oh, it's wild. So this is a very, very good team, we'll say here. And they do very well, this team. They end up, they go to the playoffs this year? No, they're 88-74. No playoffs, but that's okay. They're doing quite well. So he ends up making this year, by the way, in 69 for a shortened season, $4,200, Vida Blue.
Oh, my God.
Bringing in the cash.
Get out there and survive on this.
No shit, man. Holy fuck. He 1970 sent to AAA to Iowa, that's where I think the jaywalking thing happened. And he ends up, he said a fellow pitcher named Juan Pizarro, who he ended up talking to, was on the team, and he said he learned a lot from the guy. He was a veteran guy. And he said, Pizarro helped me more than any single person in my career. Helped him make a bunch of adjustments in his delivery that helped his control and helped his, everything about it. So he had an injury in the middle of the season, but he came back and did really well. Finishes the season at 12-3. So does well again. Called up during the September call-ups in September, obviously, and against a doubleheader. He hit a 3-run home run, but then got knocked out of the game after giving up 4 runs in less than 5 innings. So came up, kind of had a tough time, and right away got kind of knocked around a little bit. He one night he threw a no-hitter and walked only 1 batter, though. So that's not bad. Finley called the locker room and told him he's going to get a $2,000 bonus for that.
$2,000,
which is a lot. That's a shitload of your salary. If you're making 12, that's awesome. You're like, fuck yeah,
sixth of,
that's score. So he was excited. They said there are those rare starts. This is Vida. There are those rare starts when you know you're dialed in, and that's exactly how I felt when I was warming up for this game. We were facing the Twins, a strong hitting team led by Harmon Killebrew. Fuck. Every no-hitter includes a great defensive play, and when Campaneris made an amazing stop in the 5th inning, I figured maybe this is my day, and it was. So, shit, not too shabby. He said, in 1970, they called me up in September, and I realized this was my shot, so I better take advantage of it. I pitched in the first game of a doubleheader against the White Sox, hit a 3-run home run, but ended up losing. My next time out, I was much better and threw a 1-hit complete game. My next start was a lousy outing against Milwaukee, but then we played the Twins, and I threw the best game of my life, a no-hitter. Right after that, the owner called me in the locker room and said I was going to get a $2,000 bonus. Man, that seemed like a lot of money to me back then. After that season, I knew I was going to be on the pitching staff with a great bunch of pitchers. I had made it. So,
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Very excited. The team went 89-73 that year. Okay. Pretty fucking decent, but no. Back then there was no like wild cards or
playoffs, right?
Any of that shit. No, none of that shit. Vida that year.
6 teams? 6 on each side make it?
4. It was 4.
4.
It was back then they had an ALCS and an NLCS, and that was it.
Holy
period.
Shit.
Well, fuck. Before that, 20 years, it was just the top 2 teams in each league went in the World Series. That was that.
Wow.
There was no playoffs at all. It was just World Series games. So
that makes the regular season so important.
Well, yeah, that's everything. There's nothing else to it. So Vida that year, 2-0 in 1970 with a 2.09 ERA. So damn fine. 71 is here it is. This is their time here. Yeah. This is their real when it really comes together for them in 71, and a really fucking one of those teams that kind of starts to come together. They go all the way to the ALCS, and they're going to lose that year to Baltimore in the ALCS, I believe. Yes, Baltimore. They get swept in the ALCS 3-0, but they finished 101-60 that year. 101-60 isn't too shabby.
And it's only out of 5 games.
Yeah, it's a 5-game series back then, too. It was quick. So Blue pitched in the 71 season opener. So not only is he on the staff, he's the top guy. He's the opener. He only made it to the 2nd inning and then got knocked out of the game. But then he won 10 straight games after that, including 9 out of the 10 complete games.
Stop it.
Show me the next time that'll happen in the history of baseball, when a guy will throw
9 out of 10 games, 9 innings, all day.
All day. So show me a guy who wins 10 straight and 9 of those 10 are complete games. That will never.
Wow.
I would bet you could come and remove my nutsack from my body and spike it on the ground and stomp on it in front of me if that ever happens again. I will. That's an open offer and invitation. It will never, ever, ever happen again.
And that's all because they have so much money invested in them, right?
I mean, who? Vida?
No. All the money that they have invested in these pitchers today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're not going to wear a guy's arm out over 9 innings for nothing.
Yeah, but also I don't understand it. You know what? This is one of those things where I don't get it anymore, because the guy has a fucking pitch count of 80. Nolan Ryan used to throw 240. I get it that it's like different and they were hurting their arms and stuff, but at some point pitching less but then pitching super hard for a less amount of time, does that actually hurt your arm more than if you know what I'm saying? If it was a little more tired and you're not so fucking cranking on your elbow with the torque of everything. I don't know anymore. I have no idea. I don't know, but
one too many Tommy John surgeries they had to pay for.
I guess when you got a guy with, now they have guys with, pitchers with 7-year, $300 million contracts. I guess you're going to be a little more careful, err on the side of caution.
Fuck yeah.
But then what's the point of paying a guy that much if he can't dominate?
Yeah, if you can't crush the entire team for the 9 innings, then why have him?
If you let him dominate, then he'll get hurt and you can't have him at all. Right. So let's let him
300.
Okay, then just get somebody else then who's not as expensive.
Let him pitch till he's uncomfortable. What?
I
got $300 million in this motherfucker. Pitch, bitch.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I don't get it. It's fucking
throw the fucking ball.
I don't know how it works, man. So he's killing it. He appears on the cover of Sports Illustrated and Time that year. Time.
What?
Not just Sports Illustrated. Fucking Time.
Has that happened too?
Yeah, that's happened. But he has another record that we'll talk about that hasn't happened in a long time. He is compared favorably to Sandy Koufax in the press. They're saying he's better than Koufax was, which is saying something, because Koufax was considered about the best lefty that ever lived at that point. So he said that Blue thought that Koufax was the best pitcher, and he was like, I'm not as good as that fucking guy. He said that he's hanging out with Tommy Davis, who Tommy Davis is like a cool cat back then. Yeah. He's like a cool, he dressed cool, had cool cars and shit like that. Like, he was a cool dude back there. back then, and he did like yoga and shit like in 1970. Like he was way ahead of his time in terms of all. He was into like all kind of hippie,
holistic, medicine,
he was one of his best friends and his roommates there, and Tommy Davis helped him, he said, along the way as he came in. Tommy Davis had been around a while, so he was helping him. Had some weird shit that he would do. He pitched, this is very odd, it became a known thing that he always carried 2 dimes in his pocket when he pitched.
Not dime bags, dimes.
I mean, we don't know. He just says dimes. It could be anything.
Okay.
So I'm assuming coins, but
you
never know. So for some reason he did that. I don't know why, but he had a giant.
Him out.
Yeah, he had a big giant Cadillac too. He had a big Cadillac with V Blue as his license plate.
Okay,
which is another thing.
Cool.
I think the team bought it for him in '71 because they weren't paying him shit. So. They were trying to, like, just give him things, I guess, so he wouldn't ask for more money.
Here's the thing. Walk away.
No shit. Here's a game on July 9th against the Angels here. He gets a no decision here, but he went 11 innings, gave up 7 hits, no walks, no runs, and struck out 17.
Extra innings, too.
Yeah, just throwing extras and shit. The A's eventually won the game in 20 innings, 1-0.
Oh, my God. What a torturous
Holy
day.
shit. Wow. That's got to be so frustrating.
I don't want to watch that game.
Dude, by inning 14, you're just going, somebody fucking score. You're just screaming at people.
I don't care.
Hit the ball, you pussy. Hit it harder.
I'm
Jesus
so
Christ.
sick of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I want to go the fuck home.
You just make an agreement after a while to just start throwing batting practice pitches, right? Just lob it over the middle. We got to end this fucking thing. This is ridiculous here. So he kicks ass this year. This is his big year. He pitches this year 312 innings in 1971.
Oh, my God.
They don't let guys go 200 now. 312 innings. He was 24-8 and had a 1.82 ERA.
Incredible.
That is incredible. That's after they raised the mound because Bob Gibson had the 1.12 in 69, but that was before they lowered they lowered the mound. The mound was higher. So 71, the mound's lower, and he's still a 182, which is crazy.
Shit.
And allowed the fewest runners per inning in the American League as well. So the fewest whip as well. So lowest whip, best ERA, crushing.
Unbelievable.
Crushing, absolutely crushing. I guess Baltimore here, he gave up a run in the ALCS. He ended up blowing one of the games, kind of. He went deep into it, but then in the 8th inning, he gave up 4 runs and they lost the game. And they were swept in 3 games. It wasn't going to happen. Baltimore had a damn good year, but he ends up having he's up for the Cy Young, obviously.
Yeah.
And one guy, Mickey Lolich, has 25 wins. And he has 7 more strikeouts, but Lolich also pitched 376 innings, a shitload more innings.
Holy shit.
So Blue ends up getting the Cy Young Award that year.
Wow.
So his first full year.
In baseball.
Best pitcher. Not only that, he wins the American League Most Valuable Player Award as well.
MVP, Cy Young win.
Cy Young. Brand new kid.
Unbelievable.
Fucking 22. MVP, Cy Young. The future.
Oh. God,
by the way, he is. Here's a little trivia for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the last switch hitter to win the American League MVP?
Deion Sanders.
Vida Blue.
Is that right?
Vida fucking Blue, because that was 2 years, I believe, before the DH was instituted, so pitchers were still hitting. He is. No one will ever get that trivia question unless they know it. They'll say, "Oh, it was an old guy, Mickey Mantle, I guess." Nope. Vida Blue, 71, last American League switch hitter to win the MVP.
Unbelievable.
So stump any of your baseball fan fucking friends with that one. They'll be shocked.
A piece of knowledge that nobody has.
Absolutely. Especially if any ladies listening.
Yeah.
Hey, next time you see your husband, just be like, "Hey, who was the last switch hitter to win the American League MVP?" They'll be like, "I'll name people," and you go, "Fucking Vida Blue," and just be like, "Fucking idiot," and walk away. Yeah, dummy.
Hey, your boyfriend in his fucking Blue Jays hat.
Yeah.
Ask him a question.
There, stupid. What about this? So he said about that season, Vida said, "In 1971, I lost my first start, then won 10 in a row with 9 complete games, and things got crazier and crazier every week. When the media gets a hold of a story, they won't let it go, and this one kept building with each win. I got on the cover of every magazine, including Time, Newsweek, Sport, Sports Illustrated. I can't even remember them all.
And it happened to him
so young.
Forgive the pun. Out of the blue. It was just a flash that he didn't know he was going to be this good.
No.
Nobody knew he was going to be this good.
Nobody knows in baseball. You never fucking know. You could be great in the minors. They bring you up. You suck.
A chance.
Who knows? That's why there's every team has so many minor league teams. All those guys aren't going to play in the majors.
Right.
We go to the minor league games here, the Renegades game. You go, what? Right. 2 of these guys are going to play in the majors, maybe. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
And they could be really good.
Vida Blue. You don't
That's
know.
what I mean. You never fucking know. Yeah, a couple of years ago, we went and we were watching the one kid who was really good, and then he's starting shortstop for the little Anthony. So
and he's doing great too.
I think he's not hitting so well, little Anthony. No, he's having a hard time hitting here. He needs to. Well, I think it seems like they've decided to let him kind of ride out his bumps and bruises, and it's like, well, we suck anyway. Aaron Judge is hurt, just whatever.
But Aaron Judge he's suiting up, right?
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's showing up to the games and everything still, right? He's
I mean, he hasn't ditched the team. He didn't run away and
no, I'll be
move to France or anything. He just,
I'll holler at you when I rehab this.
Yeah, he's hanging out. They're paying after what they fucking signed him for.
Yeah, he better be there,
bro. If he gets decapitated, they better bring his head in a jar to every fucking game. You're sitting on the bench, Jaron. I don't give a fuck. We got you for 3 hours a day, Chief.
Yeah.
For that kind
Your
of dough?
parents are still showing up too.
Sorry, yeah, your whole family has to come. Your kid has to be the bat boy. Like it's on. I'm sorry.
That story's too important to us.
I'm telling you, man. It's something. So he says something new every day is what he says. It was crazy and something new every day. I started the All-Star game for the American League that year and gave up home runs to Henry Aaron and Johnny Bench.
So, that guy Hank?
Yeah, Hank Aaron and Johnny Bench he gave up, that's okay to give up home runs to those guys.
Yeah, they're kind of the best.
He said, but I got the win, the youngest in All-Star game history. I won my 20th game in early August and then leveled off a little. He said, I was tired, man. I threw over 300 innings that season and started to slow down a little during the summer.
20 wins is incredible.
Well, the fucking grind of the season, not to mention it starts to get hot at that point.
Yeah.
It's when you start going places and it's fucking steamy and you're going
miserable.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. You're going to, somewhere hot, anywhere. Everywhere's hot in the summer. Fuck, it doesn't even matter. Even Milwaukee's steamy back then.
But you got to go to Houston. Granted, was that always indoors?
That's always, well, after the first couple of years, they had that shit stadium, and then they moved to the Dome in 68 or whatever, 67, some shit like that.
But still, you got to walk to it.
It's hot there. Yeah. Arlington
only so much air
came in a couple years later.
Yeah.
And that was hot as fuck in Texas, man. It still is. It's brutal down there. So in 71, here comes the controversy, though.
Yeah.
He's fighting with Charlie Finley, the owner, which is not surprising. Finley offers Vida $2,000 to do what, you might ask? To pitch more? To maybe to do some advertising for the team or to be a spokesperson? No. To change his middle name legally to True. So he would be Vida True Blue.
So I'm going to make you a gimmick.
Yes.
No.
But that's what these Ted Turner once offered the one guy on his team a shitload of money to change his last name to Channel because he wore it was Channel 17 or whatever that they were on. That was his number on the Braves. So he offered his jersey would say Channel 17 or whatever the fuck it was. So he offered him money to do that, and the guy was like, "I'm not changing my last name to Channel. That's ridiculous." So
my mom and dad will be so mad.
Yeah, especially this guy. He's a junior. That's his dad's name. You're asking him to change it legally?
Yeah.
So, the Finley wanted to do that. He thought it would be a cool nickname if everyone called him True Blue. He thought that would be neat.
Isn't it okay just to call him that?
How about it doesn't matter because he struck out 300 people. So his name could be fucking, Farty McFloppy Balls, and it would fucking, that's great marketing. Watch Floppy McFarty Balls pitch. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Wow. He said, quote, one day in 71, he offered me $2,000 to change my middle name to True. At first, I thought he might be joking. I told And I smacked him. He said, I told Charlie, no, I like my name the way it is. He did not like that and started telling everyone to call me True Blue anyway. Just told the press that's what his name is now, even though he didn't change it.
So he told them that he did change it, or
He
just told them just to call him
told
that?
everyone to call him that. He made the PA announcer announce him as that, even though he didn't want to be.
Now at that.
Yeah, but True Blue. He said, I was pissed and I let him know.
Yeah.
He was fucking pissed. He said, though, that he would not let it go. Finley kept
asking him to do
kept doing it. So he said when he would pitch, his name would appear on the scoreboard as True Blue.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he told the radio and TV announcers, Finley did, to refer to him by True Blue as well. So as far as anyone watching a game was concerned, he was True Blue, unless you heard from him directly.
And what is that? What
and he
does
didn't
that
even get $2,000.
What does that matter? There's not even blue in our team colors.
Marketing.
Who gives a shit?
Yep. It's fucking interesting. And at one point, too, Finley had the scoreboard list the A's colors as follows: Kelly Green, Fort Knox Gold, Wedding Gown White, and Vida Blue. He had on the fucking stadium. So he just really liked this last name and thought it would be cool.
Yeah.
Blue said, please stop. He asked the fucking television announcers, please stop calling me this. It's not my name, and I don't like it. He asked the team's public relations people not to refer to him as True Blue in press releases anymore, please.
They're doing it release.
And then asked the scoreboard guy, for the love of God, can you not put my name in giant lit up letters that say True fucking Blue? Please, I beg of you. Just please. And so this got worse over the course of the season, and of course will blow up into a huge, thing at the end of the season.
Why is that a fight?
Dude, he said no, and he's like, well, I'm going to call you that anyway. Didn't force the $2,000 on him, I bet, though.
I just like it. That's why. And I'm not going to stop.
No, Charlie Finley said, I own you, and so I'll call you whatever I want. That's what I feel like it is. To me, that's what it is.
It's for sure, yeah.
I pay your salary. You're my property, and I'll call you whatever the fuck I want to the press. Wow. Quite a rotation that year. Vida Blue, Catfish Hunter, Chuck Dobson, Diego Segui, Blue Moon Odom. That's a pretty nasty little rotation. Not bad. So he says, Vida, the American League Championship Series was a bigger deal back then because now so many teams get into the postseason, it's kind of diluted it. You could tell when you ran out on the field, these games were a lot more important than you could feel the energy. So he said that was pretty cool, but they got swept that year. He does make $14,750.
Oh.
Plus, they said roughly $13,100 in, quote, gifts from the owner.
Very nice.
Which is the Cadillac. After his season, by the way, he wanted a pay raise. He goes, I'm the MVP and Cy Young Award winner. Wait till you hear this. He actually qualified for public housing.
Oh, that's terrible.
He lived in public housing while
Section
being
8
the Cy Young and MVP award winners.
And on the cover of Time.
Yes. Come visit me next to my neighbor who's used to be a janitor but got hurt on the job, and now he lives next door. So we live here together. Yeah.
Come interview me while a shirtless man batters his family.
That's right next door. You can see it. He has a couple of show times. It's like 4 and 6 usually, but sometimes there's an 8 if there's a lot of demand for it.
Might get a late show.
You never know. You might be up for a late show tonight. We'll see what time it starts.
You might catch the matinee. That one's a little cleaner.
Oh, I love it. So he made $6,365.58 were his share of the postseason money, and he got a Cadillac as a bonus. So Finley offered a raise, but not as much as he wanted. So
he parked a Cadillac in front of the Section 8 housing. Jay.
Yeah, that's it. This is my Cadillac. No one's going to fuck with it. It's Vida's Cadillac.
Wow.
That's True Blue's Cadillac right there. Surprised he wasn't beating people in the streets for that.
It's like seeing a lifted Escalade parked in a fucking single wide, in front of a single wide trailer. It's like you're living life backward, but that might just be
I see that
Vida Blue.
Remember driving to Massachusetts to go to the dispensary? We passed that terrible trailer park there.
Yeah,
and there's you'll see that and you go, Live in the car. It's nicer, literally, than some of these. Just live in the car. Right. It's way nicer.
The AC feels better in the car.
Yeah, I bet there's less animals and insects and shit in the car. Just live in there. Wow. So his attorney now, Bob Gerst, was representing him, and he presents an opening offer to Charlie Finley, the owner, of Vida would like $115,000.
Well, that's a start.
That's a start. He later says he says to Finley that Vida will accept $85,000 if you want. Fine, if you're going to be cheap about it, he will take $85,000, which was still less than the average salary paid to the top 10 highest paid pitchers. So
what the fuck, man?
That still doesn't even put him in the top 10 of the.
It's not even a competitive salary. Still,
yeah, it's decent though, and Vida will take it because you're dealing with Charlie Finley, and he likes playing for Oakland. So. He says that Finley says, well, that sounds reasonable, but I won't pay him more than $50,000. $50,000 is all he's going to get from me.
Like at a yard sale.
Yeah.
This is not a yard sale.
It's not a broken toaster. It's a fucking Cy Young Award winner, MVP award winner.
This is an MVP pitcher.
Not a lamp with a ripped shade. What the fuck are we talking about here?
This isn't a set of 4 glasses missing one.
That's
fucking pay the man.
This is a weight set with 3 50-pound things, and you're like, well, that's not enough. 4 would be, but not 3.
4 would be helpful.
You know,
I'm gonna have a weak arm.
This is good. One arm's going to go back and forth. Never mind. Fine. So he says, "quote I asked for $85,000, and he offered me $50,000, and he wasn't going to budge." All I wanted was to be paid like a top 10 pitcher, but Charlie was always crying poor. He was saying the team was going to go bankrupt or move to Denver. He gave me a Cadillac as a bonus after the 71 season, hoping that I would go easy on him. Wow. Finley made the negotiations public, declaring that Vida Blue would not be seeking so much if he hadn't hired a lawyer to represent him. Because back then, this is the beginning of players having agents and lawyers, and it was very rare. Yeah. So, yeah, this was a matter of usually it was one-on-one. And the owners took real how dare you bring someone in here and call me on my bullshit with a legal background, not just some kid who played fucking baseball in high school who we drafted and has no legal knowledge whatsoever. How dare you?
It's like when 2 podcasters go talk to a big network and they give them what money feels like a lot. And then you get an agent and they're like, what are you, out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, that was...
we needed to eat, sir.
That was 6 years ago that happened, and we were like, I don't know. We didn't know any better.
Felt like a lot.
Felt like a lot. And they were like, that's nothing. And it wasn't a lot at all, but it was like, I can eke out a survivable, barely eating food living out of this. Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's what we were doing.
Yes.
One
more, please.
But we also weren't the American League MVP Cy Young Award winners is the difference. He's got a lot of, he seems to have some negotiating power here.
Yeah.
But they are going back and forth, and then this ends up being known as a holdout situation is what they're calling it in the paper here. So I can't believe that he was qualified to live in West Oakland's publicly subsidized housing during his MVP season. Holy shit, because you can't pay your rent with a Cadillac. So
based on his salary. That's amazing.
That is unfucking real. This situation, by the way, actually helped all the rest of the players because this became a famous thing that the MVP Cy Young Award winner can live in public fucking housing. Right. That's why we need a union that's stronger to actually make these owners pay us what we're owed and open the book and all that kind of shit. And that's what ended up happening. So that's, like I said, and very interesting. 1971 USO tour he goes on.
What?
Apparently, yeah. I guess it's Bob Hope's USO tours here.
Does he tell dick jokes?
I guess he is. Yeah, he's going to, Oakland Athletics pitcher Vida Blue, the singing group Sunday's Child, and the Hollywood Deb Stars. They're going to travel to Hawaii, Okinawa, Thailand, South Vietnam, Iran, Italy, Spain, Guantanamo Bay, all these places.
For what?
I have no fucking idea. I don't know what he does. Shakes hands, throws the ball back and forth. I don't know.
Have a catch?
He also. for the Safeway All-Stars Challenge Sports, which is a charitable cause. Automobile donations. He does this forever. Remember, there was commercials always of Vida Blue going, I want your car. And it would be if you have a shit car to donate to charity or whatever.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Like Cars for Kids?
I was going to say like 1-800 Cars for Kids type of thing. But it was, I want your car. It was Vida Blue fucking. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Audio version carjackings people here. So he did celebrity golf tournaments and charities for kids. A lot of charity shit here. Big time. So his holdout in 72 extends into spring training.
Oh.
On March 16th, Vida and his lawyer hold a televised press conference to announce that Vida is withdrawing from baseball.
Oh.
Quitting, retiring, to take a position with, guess who, Jimmy?
Cars for Kids.
The Dura Steel Products Company.
What?
That's my options. It could be the Cy Young Award winner or do, fucking acquisitions for a steel company.
Is that what it is? Is it a steel company?
Yeah, Dura Steel Products Company. They make steel products. So he actually did work for the company because he needed money in the off season. He didn't get paid enough. And it was obviously, saying, I don't need it. Fuck it. I'll just do this. He said, quote, I hired a lawyer and we told Charlie we wanted $115,000 knowing we had no shot. The negotiations got a little nasty and I was ready to quit, man. So Vida says, I took a job at this company called Dura Steel Products Company. I was ready to sit out and just get away from Finley. I did sit out until early May, but I was never treated the same by Charlie after that. There was a lot of resentment there that never went away.
Unbelievable.
Yep. He ends up, it's a big fucking thing. They finally reach an agreement on $63,000. So he still gets fucked. Still gets totally fucked.
Yeah.
And they couldn't agree on the wording or the announcement of the agreement, though. And Finley didn't want to appear like he was conceding anything. So he insisted that he was paying Blue $50,000, which was what he said he would never pay more than. But then he was going to pay him a $5,000 signing bonus.
Okay.
And $8,000 for Blue's, quote, college fund as well. So that's the 63, but it's really only 50, so I didn't give in at all. That's what's important.
That's him not wanting to have to budge on later players, obviously.
Yep, because Reggie Jackson's contract's going to come, all these guys. Yep.
Because he's got famous guys that play for him.
Catfish. That's why they all ended up on the Yankees. Because Steinbrenner did the opposite. Steinbrenner paid a guy extra and told everybody if he paid him $1 million, he'd be like, I'm giving him $4 million. Like, just to be grandiose. So players wanted to fucking play there. Who wants to play for this guy?
No, I would never.
Who would you? Yeah, the only guys you could ever guys you draft and have the control over. Otherwise, you have no one wants to play for this guy.
He's also got Blue Moon. Did he fucking pressure that son of a bitch to throw some shit in front of his name?
Be true Blue Moon Odom. Why not? I guess he's already Blue Moon Odom.
Yeah.
Like, listen, motherfucker, I already got a cool nickname. Leave me. They're going to name beer after me. Leave me the fuck alone, okay? I'm cool.
Yeah. There's a song, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's awesome. So 72 Oakland Athletics here. They're 93-62, first in the AL West. They beat the Tigers in 5 games in the ALCS and go all the way to the World Series against Cincinnati in the early part of their dynasty, and they beat them in 7 games, Oakland does, and they are the World Series champions that year. So not too goddamn shabby.
World Series champ.
Oh, absolutely. A couple times. Awesome. Yeah, he's real good. And I mean, this team has 4 Hall of Famers on it. So that helps.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt at all.
And he's a baby still.
Yeah, he's still a kid. He's 22. This year he only goes 6-10, but with a 2.80 ERA. So the record really doesn't mean as much as that sort of thing. ERA, his whip is really low. His whip's right around 1, which is pretty goddamn good. A lot of strikeouts, 111 strikeouts, only 48 walks. He makes his $63,000, and they move on to 73, where they finished 94-68. They beat Baltimore in the ALCS in 5, get the revenge, and then go to the World Series against the Mets that year in 73 and beat them in 7 games. So
look at this.
Each series goes right to the end, but they're clutch and they win it. So 2 years in a row.
There's a storyline. That's gorgeous.
Vida is another World Series fucking champion here. So he's killing it. He's 20-9 with a 3.28 ERA. He's doesn't seem to have the same fastball as he did. Yeah. Maybe throwing 312 innings will do that to your fastball, but
over 2 seasons you got over fucking 600 innings in you. That's
lot.
Nuts.
It's a lot. Yeah, he struck out 158 batters in 263 innings this year. So it's not quite the same, but everybody says he's a smarter pitcher. Everybody says he knows how to pitch now. So that's the other thing. He might not need that pitch at this point in time to be like that all the time. His teammate Sal Bando said, in the first part of 1971, Vida was overpowering everyone, and now he's overmatching them. He says he jogs out to his position and works with quick efficiency, throwing his left-handed darts out of a fluid, high-kicking motion. Wow, that sounds pretty goddamn cool. So not bad that year. He's 7th in Cy Young voting that year as well. So he's in kind of the top tier. So does very well. He makes $51,000 that year.
Okay.
Cheap fuck, man. This cheap
That's
son of a bitch.
Truly just so insulting.
It really is.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
74 A's go 90-72. They beat Baltimore in the ALCS, go to the World Series against the Dodgers in 74, and beat them 4-1. So
they got 3 in a row?
3 in a row. The cheap fuck Finley got 3 in a row, and then still claimed poverty after that.
Unbelievable.
And then he decided after this, he kind of starts shipping guys all over the place. Mm-hmm. Anybody who, wants any kind of money, he's like, nope, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. The team definitely changes its makeup a lot. He was 17-15 that year, Vida was, with a 3.25 ERA, so still pretty good, not bad at all, and doesn't matter because he's got a ring. Mm-hmm. Good shit. Vida says when the A's came to Oakland, they had to play second fiddle to San Francisco because they had all the big names like Mays, McCovey, Juan Marichal, Gaylord Perry, and Orlando Cepeda. Everything changed when we won 5 divisional titles and those 3 championships in a row.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The Bay Area loves a winner, and the Giants were not winning, so we kind of stole their thunder. Plus, going to Candlestick was always an adventure with the cold and the wind, something we never encountered on the other side of the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different experience.
Yeah, Candlestick is certainly a storied place.
That windy shit, you could tell. They always said, Rod said you could tell, you just looked where the wrappers were blowing. Look where, like, the hot dog wrappers and shit that are blown down in the field, you could tell where the wind was blowing because you could look and see where they were
resting, what corner it's in. Yeah.
What corner, what wall it was pushed up against, basically. Yeah. That was how you could tell. So 1975, they go 98-64. So still killing it. They lose, though, to the Red Sox that year, 3-0. They get swept by the Red Sox, and that was when they went to play the Reds there in 75, and the Reds beat them. That was Carlton Fisk with the whole... with the waving as the ball to fair. So anyway, this year Vida is an all-star again. He's 22-11, 3.01 ERA, 278 innings pitched. Listen to his innings pitched: 312, 151, 263, 282, 278.
Oh, my elbow hurts.
That's a guy's whole career now. Literally his whole career. He'll throw that many innings, maybe. And they'll be like, we need to rest him. 75, he makes $80,000.
Jesus Christ.
So, I mean, it's something. 1976, 87-74, they finished second in the AL West, so no playoffs for them this year. Vida makes $135,000 in 76, though.
Great.
$135,000 on June 15th, 1976. He's purchased by the New York Yankees from the Oakland A's.
Really?
But the previous purchase, 3 days later, it's voided and he's returned to the A's.
What happened?
Somehow the league didn't approve the deal. I don't know what it was.
Didn't clear?
It's with Charlie Finley. No, the Yankees bought him, so it would have cleared. Yeah, Steinbrenner's checks. He's an asshole, but his checks clear, at least, Yeah. That's one thing. So this was the Catfish Hunter left and went to the Yankees. They traded Reggie Jackson to the Orioles, and then he ended up going to the Yankees after that, signing the free agent deal there, and the whole team is kind of falling apart here. He said this was right before the trade deadline. Finley announced that he was selling Vida Blue for $1.5 million and Joe Rudy and Raleigh Fingers to the Red Sox for $2 million. But the transactions were held up, and Kuhn and Finley fought over a bunch of shit based on this. And basically, Charlie Finley fought with him forever after that till he sold the team. It was a fucking mess. They said the issue is whether the assignment of the contracts is appropriate or not under the circumstances. That's the issue I have to wrestle with. I have to consider these transactions in the best interest of baseball, is what Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner, said. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the details were, and frankly, I don't really care. So
what it sounds like is this guy only owes these people this much money, and he's selling them for so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's also the matter of there's a technical roster situations and things like that. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I have no fucking clue what the sub rules of.
Looks kind of shitty if a player's worth $80,000 left on their contract and you're selling them for $2 million.
$2 million.
Yeah, you sound like an asshole.
But the shit, it's what happens now, like for years when like a big Japanese player would want to come over, all the teams bid on him for the right to sign him.
Right.
Because they have to pay the other team that he plays for $200 million to be able to sign this guy for more money. It's fucking insane. So there you go. 1976, 18-13 for Vida, 2.35 ERA, 298 innings pitched.
Oh, my God.
Fucking A. That's a lot of innings pitched, man. That is so many innings.
And he had to stay with the A's for that?
Stay with the A's, yeah.
Oh, God.
77, the A's are 63-98, so they flip-flopped their record, just getting rid of everybody on their team. Now their lineup, instead of being Sal Bando, Joe Rudy, Reggie Jackson, all these guys, it's Manny Sanguillen, Dick Allen, who is 35. He was a great player when he was in his prime, but he's fucking 35 now. Marty Perez, Rob Piccolo, Wayne Gross, Mitchell Page, young Tony Armas, who was really good later, but not now, Jim Tyrone, and Earl Williams. That's your lineup now. That sound like a fucking World Series lineup or not? Ever hear of
Cowboys.
Most of those guys? Didn't think so. Very different rotation, too. No more Catfish Hunters or anybody like that. Not great. So Catfish, though, 77. He leads the AL in losses that year, 14-19.
Oh, no.
But only a 3.83 ERA. You're on a bad team. You can't help you know, if you give up 2 runs and your team scores none, you really can't.
Right.
You're going to lose. It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So he's an all-star in 77, so that's pretty good. 279.2 innings.
Great.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
Really getting after it.
Fuck. He gives up 284 hits, too. Makes $145,000. Jesus Christ.
I hate that he makes money to stink. That blows. You
that
know
really
I mean?
sucks. Yeah.
That hurts. When they're winning, he's making no money.
Yeah, it really sucks. What he's made in his whole career, Reggie Jackson makes twice as much as that in one season. Mm-hmm. At that point in time, that's kind of shitty to think about. You know what I mean? Like,
and they're winning.
Yeah. So name on the back of the jersey. Now let's talk about that. The A's, a lot of times, the A's were the first team to, you know, get some people talking and shit. They put their first names on the backs of the jerseys if the guys wanted. Okay. They had that going on. Yeah. But he wore blue on the back of his for a long time. But then he switched to Vida toward the end of his Oakland tenure. Yeah. And then he ended up wearing Vida on the back of his jersey the whole time he was with the Giants later on, which was nobody else was doing that on the Giants, but he had his. And I knew that because in Rod's house, he had tons of jerseys up on walls of all the people he played with and guys he knew, from old guys he respected and everything. And Vida Blue had a job with the Giants, so he knew Vida Blue. He was always around. So he had a signed Vida Blue, and he said, and it had Vida on the back. And I was like, why did it say Vida and not Blue? And we'll talk about it here. Blue said he switched it to Vida in order to honor his father, Vida Blue Sr.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, that might have been true.
Yeah.
That might have been true as part of it. But what he told the players is something completely different. Uh-huh. Because Rod asked him, why'd you use Vida instead of Blue? Just curious. Right. And Vida said, this is what Rod told me, the quote was, I got tired of all these cracker motherfuckers calling me blue black. I got sick of that shit.
I would go nuts.
Yeah, he said that's why. He said all these motherfuckers would yell blue black at me all the time and talk about I'm blue and black and so black I'm blue and all that kind of shit.
Oh,
he said I got fucking tired of it. So I put Vida on the back and they could suck my dick.
Next to the racist shit, Vida.
That's what he told. That's what he told guys around the state. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he was just saying that shit then, talking shit, or that seems more realistic than to the press. You'd go, I wanted to honor my father.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then also you get to honor your father. So his name was also Blue, though. So it doesn't really.
Yeah.
Your father had both those names.
Could have just thrown Rochelle back there. Who gives a shit?
Now that's honoring your father. You throw Rochelle back there, we know you mean business, motherfucker.
You fucking love that man.
Holy shit. So 78, he's traded from the A's to the Giants, so he doesn't even have to move. That's easy.
No.
That's an easy one.
Stay in Section 8.
Yep. Stay right there. Hopefully he's out of it by now.
Yeah,
he's traded for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that you've never heard of and $300,000. So it's just the A's dumping an expensive guy for 6 cheap ones. For 6 cheap guys and a bunch of money. And
that's
cash.
A cheap man move right there. That's what that is.
That is. That's why they suck through that period. 1978 Giants, they're 89 and 73.
Not bad.
Not terrible. Third in the NL West. Nothing, crazy. On that team, nobody really. Just one of the better Bob Shepard names you could have out there. John Montefusco, which is a very good. The old Yankee announcer.
Yeah.
John Montefusco would be a wonderful Bob Shepard name.
And he repeats it. Montefusco.
Yeah, Montefusco. Number 26. Montefusco. Very good shit. I love that guy. Too bad he's dead. So otherwise, not a real star-studded team here. Darrell Evans is on the team. Willie McCovey's still there, but I think he's about 146 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to wake him up before games. Willie, come on. He's like, what happened now? Oh, hold on a minute. All right. Let me take my slippers off. I'll be right there. Hold on a minute. He was born in Christ, he's old as fuck. Jesus Christ, he's 40 at this point, still playing. That's
40. Oh my God.
40, still hit the ball, I guess. So why not?
Nolan Ryan was 46 when he quit.
45. I mean,
whatever it was, but I can't imagine. And
Julio Franco played till he was 50.
Yeah,
I mean,
fucking nuts.
Satchel Paige was pitching when he was like 53 or some shit.
Body's just broken.
Oh, ow. Every time you throw, some weird sound comes out, and you're like, oh, God, that's scary. That didn't sound right.
Everything I do now makes a noise.
Oh, yeah.
Right out of my face.
A click or a pop or a fucking...
No, my mouth. I go...
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's because something just cracked and popped or grinded.
My body forces sound out of my face for nothing.
For a lot. It's
to
all
stand up.
Man. So
embarrassing.
78, the Giants. He's an all-star. He's 18-10, 2.79 ERA, 258 innings. He's third in the Cy Young voting also that year. So really killing it. Makes $205,000 now, baby.
Wow.
And that, by the way, is in 2023 money, $956,227,000.53.
Not even $1 million.
Still less than $1 million. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Still, I'm going to say it now. This is grace right here for him. We'll say this is kind of grace. Yeah, he's almost won the Cy Young again. He kind of came back. He's
got some rings.
He's rising from the ashes of that shit Oakland team, so it's really nice. He's got his rings. 1979 San Francisco, 71-91. They're pretty lousy. Vida is not very good either. He's 14-14 with a 5.01 ERA that year.
Oh boy!
That leads the majors in earned runs. And not in like a good way, like he gives up the least.
Whole majors.
Gives up the most, or at least the American League.
Yeah.
Not wonderful at all, really. 111 walks to 138 strikeouts, which is way worse than he's been in since he was in the minors. So it's kind of definitely going downhill for him, I would say, here. 1980 San Francisco, 75-86 that year. He, again, this year, back to decent. He's an all-star again, 14-10, 2.97 ERA, so not bad. 1981, the Giants, this is a strike-shortened season. They're 56-55, and let's see where Vida is in this one. He is 8-6 with a 2.45 ERA. Again, so he's trying to he's doing better. He gets the win in the All-Star game, becoming the only pitcher at that time to win the All-Star game in each league. For each league.
Oh, yeah, he's done it twice, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So, 81, he's an all-star, 2.45 ERA. 1982, he is traded by the Giants with Bob Tufts. You know him, right? Poster on your wall. Yeah, poster on your wall, Bob Tufts all the time.
Jersey, yeah.
To the Royals. So he's going to go to the Royals.
City?
Kansas City to the, no, Jimmy, the Winnipeg Royals.
Did they start in Kansas City?
The Royals, they were an expansion team in the late 60s. So
left. Good for them.
Good for them. Craig Chamberlain, Adelaide Hammaker, Rennie Martin, and Brad Wellman. A bunch of shit. Kansas City's 90-72 that year. Those mid-'80s Royals were pretty fucking good. They weren't bad.
Wally Joyner and shit too at the end there.
That was he was on the Angels when he first came up in the late 80s.
But was he on the Royals when they were good?
Maybe at the end of his career, possibly. This is Willie Mays Aikens, Frank White, U.L. Washington, George Brett, Willie Wilson, Hal McRae.
George Brett.
This whole crew here, good squad, actually. So this year he goes 13-12 with a 3.78 ERA.
Okay.
At least this is his first year in a while he's thrown under 200 innings, so it's a little bit of a break. And he throws 181 innings, which is still a lot. So 83 with the Royals are 79-83. So again, not terrific. He that year is 0-5 with a 6.01 ERA. Not great. Problem is he doesn't finish the season because comes out in August that Vida Blue is under a big giant cocaine investigation.
Oh, Vida.
This is in 83. There was a shitload of guys that got busted. The Pittsburgh drug trials, all that shit is all the same type of umbrella, basically. All the
Willie Mays
athletes getting Willie Mays Aikens was on this team. This is This is a lot. We covered this when we covered Willie Mays Aikens. If you want to go back, if you want to hear the first "How is it you've come to arrive here?" ever, it is Willie Mays Aikens, because it actually happened to Willie Mays Aikens. A Mexican pimp asked him that while he was coming to retrieve a woman that Willie Mays Aikens had stolen, essentially,
and not paid for.
And not paid for at all. So this was a big deal in Kansas City. There was a couple of like businessmen who liked to hang out with the guys and would invite them over after the games to their big houses to come party, and they put out lots of coke, and it was just kind of a party environment, and a lot of the players got a little too far into it and that sort of thing. So they said here, this is from the August 9th, 1983 newspaper here. It says 4 members of the Kansas City Royals and recently released pitcher Vida Blue are being investigated by the FBI for alleged cocaine abuse. Cocaine abuse? I don't know why the FBI is looking into that. Are they selling it to anyone, or just
you could take the first 2 letters off that? It's just cocaine use.
It's fine for that. Yeah, it's none of their business how much of it he uses, I wouldn't assume. John Schorholtz, executive vice president and general manager of the baseball team, said Monday he was contacted by the FBI 2 weeks ago about the investigation. They said that we are aware that several of our players are being interviewed in relation to an investigation that's being conducted by the FBI. They said the newspaper reported it was Vida Blue, Jerry Martin, and Willie Mays Aikens, and somebody else. So this was part of the...
Mays Aikens did this to him?
Yep, as part of the whole thing. Well, he was just hanging out with all the guys. There was all going on here. They named all these these sources and everything like that. They said, Schorholtz said, quote, "We didn't feel Vida was performing up to his capabilities for whatever reason." So now they're like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And they said that the team wanted to let everyone know that his release didn't have anything to do with the cocaine thing.
No?
He was just pitching like shit. And then also the FBI called and they were like, well, we were going to release him anyway, so that's good. Yeah. Horse shit. This involved Overland Park businessman Mark Liebel and Johnson County attorney David Roselli. That's how these are the guys that were involved in giving players coke and hanging out with coke, I guess, allegedly at the time. So federal prosecutors are involved, and on December 13th, 1983, he is suspended for 1 year.
A whole year.
From baseball, first off.
For the coke. Yeah.
For the coke. And then, December 20th, 1983, he has to go to court, and this is the crazy thing. He's not arrested and being tried for drug sales or drug possession. It's drug use, which I don't know how that you can even do that. That's wild. So
I realize it's illegal, but it's
once it's in my body, it's really none of your business at that point. Like
I mean, it's already
inside
done.
me.
It's already gone.
You want to what do you want to do here? Sift through my intestines like for any other thing you want to look for while it's in there? It's in me. You can't have it anymore. So
it's already done.
It's already done, man. Vida Blue described in court using drugs as a monster. He said, quote, "It's a monster that has made midgets out of giants and crybabies out of very strong persons." Okay. That's what he said. They said, quote, "Mr. Blue," this is the judge, "were it not for the fact that you have cooperated with the government in this case, your sentence would be much more severe." And he says, "You, sir, may fuck off. 3 months in prison and $5,000 fine for possession of cocaine," which was, I don't know if he ever had it or whatever the fucking deal was, but apparently so. He's pleading guilty to misdemeanor charge of possession of 3 grams of cocaine, less than an 8-ball here. Wow. Willie Wilson, Jerry Martin, Willie Mays Aikens also pleaded guilty to misdemeanor counts of attempting to possess cocaine. 'Cause that's what it was. It was trying to get cocaine to use.
And don't like that at all. There's
so
bigger
silly
things to deal with. Right?
Yeah, then a baseball player's doing coke in some dude's basement after a game. I don't care about that. Yeah, trying to. I don't care about it.
That seems like a lazy work day.
I saw you roll up a $20 bill, sir. Get over here. What the fuck? Leave me alone. So they're all sentenced to 3 months in a minimum security prison at Fort Worth, Texas. All these guys. Jesus Christ. So he said that during court, he said he regretted that his actions have, quote, "betrayed the trust and respect of my friends and family. I regret that it took something this tragic to make me realize there was something lying dormant in me that was so terrible." Oh. Or I was just partying with my friends after the game in the early 80s doing a little coke like everybody fucking else who's out past 11 o'clock in 1983.
I had no idea this monster existed until a businessman offered it to me in a giant punch bowl.
Oh, with giant punch bowl. While wearing a bib so he didn't get any on. That's how hard he was going at it, man. Wow. He says chemical dependency can be just as deadly as cancer.
Well,
okay. I mean, it depends on how you're doing it, but yeah, I'm sure.
Can be. Anything can be.
Yeah, absolutely. So they said that even a short jail term could seriously endanger his chances of getting a baseball job next season, especially since he might miss spring training.
Yeah.
That makes sense. One of his lawyers argued that Blue's sentencing was twice delayed at the request of the government. So, come on, guys.
Yeah.
You're fucking us up. You could have done this time pre-spring training. What are we doing?
Right.
They also
wait until it's inconvenient for us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And his lawyer here also said, quote, this had said that the base chemical dependency's kind of been a part of baseball for a long time. You can't start, litigating it now, like if you want to start putting people in jail. He said, quote, Babe Ruth and Walter Johnson, perhaps the greatest hitter and the greatest pitcher that ever lived, suffered from career-long bouts of alcoholism. He said it's always been a problem, and it's a problem in all sports. They said, his lawyer said, perhaps it's to relieve the pressure of the fear of failure or to relieve the loneliness or to stoke the competitive fires. He said Vida has recognized the problem, and he's trying to get something done about it. There you go.
Bruce's family is like, hey, why do we got to bring our guy up?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Don't throw me
he's a
under
drunk.
the fucking bus.
But true at the same time, It's also true. Tons of guys have been alcoholics. Baseball was like, you're a pussy if you're not an alcoholic as a baseball player back in the day. That's what they did. So they talk about everybody else getting suspended, and they said, his lawyer says, sometimes the Players Association has been successful in challenging the commissioner and sometimes not. There is a substantial possibility that Akins, Martin, and Wilson will be eligible to play baseball when spring training begins, but apparently not Blue. They said that these players all occupy a special place in society. He says Mr. Blue has occupied that special place for a very long time. He said his client was a high school star and a star in baseball. He said he's had a fantastic career, but obviously somewhere along the way, Vida fell off that pedestal.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. They asked Blue, are you embarrassed by this?
Yeah.
And he said, quote, it's not embarrassing, but it tarnished my image. Not that I was squeaky clean. I didn't have a halo and stuff, but I had a reputation of being a respectable, reputable person. I worked my tail off to polish that image back up and renew the name Vida Blue Jr. No, sir. Don't fucking put extra stank on the junior, man. Come on. But it's a constant battle to do that every day. Yeah. Jesus Christ. April 6th, 1985, when he missed the whole 84 season.
Yeah.
So April 6th, 85, which is after spring training, by the way, April 6th, he's signed as a free agent with the San Francisco Giants.
Okay.
Who stink that year. They're 62-100. They suck. So not wonderful. The pitching rotation is Adelaide Hammaker, Mike Krukow, Dave LaPointe, a lot of guys with under 10 wins, put it that way. So he goes 8-8. He fits right in with a 4.47 ERA for Vida. Not great. Makes $250,000 there. Now, 1985 is the Pittsburgh drug trials. That we covered in a Patreon episode with the mascot of the Pirates, with the parrot thing or whatever the fuck it was. The bird procuring drugs for people, hiding it right in his beak. So they said this was a kind of a big deal, and they actually used the testimony of Vida Blue, Willie Mays Akins, Enos Campbell, Keith Hernandez, Jeffrey Leonard, Tim Raines, Lonnie Smith, Alan Wiggins. There's some alums in there. They used their testimony as part of this drug trial to talk about generally, drugs in baseball and shit like that.
Bunch of snitches.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Snitching, fucking snitching. So yeah, they said that their publicity got kind of shitty after that because this was airing all of baseball stink, just opening the window and letting it out. So they said that Blue was among the players ordered by Commissioner Peter Ueberroth to be subject to random drug testing for the rest of his career.
Wow.
Yep. By the way,
just always.
Just if we ever feel like getting your piss, we're taking it from you anytime.
Oh, God.
You might have to piss at any moment. Now, right under this, by the way, this article is an ad for possibly the worst auto service ever. It's crazy. The sales, Jimmy, is fucking insane. Okay, this is a place called Mr. Transmission.
Yeah.
The professionals you trust is what it says. But when you look at the goddamn ad here, it is tune-up special, okay, transmission tune-up. This includes, Jimmy, new pan gasket, new fluid, clean filter, any necessary minor adjustments. $998.
$10.
$988. You can't, all that, how awful are everything they're putting into your car?
$10.
$10.
Fuck your car up.
Fuck you. All the materials are worth more than $10. The shittiest shit we can get. Fuck labor.
Gasket and fluid is $10.
Oh my God. And a new pan gasket, new fluid, clean filter. That's not $10.
Filter fluid gasket, that's $15.
Wow, what a load of shit. They're going to tell you everything's wrong with your car, no matter what.
They're using silicone as a gasket. They're just coating the shit out of it. There's no way you get a gasket ever.
It's ready. Here you go. Falling apart. You go to shift and the transmission, just third gear falls out of your car. Okay, I guess that didn't work. 86, he's with the Giants again. Roger Craig, the manager now. And this is the Will Clark is on this team now, the Jeffrey Leonard. Some more guys, Chili Davis, Candy Maldonado, more guys we kind of recognize from this area. It's going to be, Matt Williams later on. And
a bunch of guys I had cards of as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. These are all guys we recognize their names here. Mike Lacrosse, Kelly Downs, all these guys. So this year, Vida is 10-10. Okay. Fuck, he's a 500 pitcher now. He was 8-8 last year.
Yeah.
He's 10-10 with a 3.27 ERA, so not too shabby. Yeah. Unfortunately for Vida, he doesn't want to retire, but this is going to be the end of his career. He's 36, so I mean he's getting up there a little bit, but he ends up pitching. He ends up with 209 wins, 161 losses, a 3.27 lifetime ERA.
Okay.
And not too shabby. He had, let's see, how many Ks did he have here? Let me see. For strikeouts, 2,175 strikeouts. That's not bad at all. Pretty goddamn good career is what he had.
The money, though.
Real solid career. His money, because his last year he made $450,000. Made the most ever in his last year. That's just how salaries were going. Yeah. His entire career, and this is, by the way, with years missing, because we don't have 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, all those years are gone. We don't have what he made then. So not including those years, but we can assume he made somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000 because that's what he made in 85. Without those years, he made $1,397,950.
Awful.
That is not great for being a major league star.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not wonderful.
So big, everybody knows who you are.
Fuck. In January of 87, he signs as a free agent with the Oakland A's again.
Yeah.
Signs up with them, but he abruptly retires during spring training.
Okay.
And it's rumored, we never know if this is true or not, but it is kind of a quote known fact, quote unquote, fucking not, we don't know if it's true, that he had tested positive on a drug test when they tested him in spring training. And basically they told him, look, either quit or we're going to suspend you, and it's going to look terrible for you. So
we're going to shame you at the end of your career, or you walk out of here magnanimous, like your arm just is a rag now.
Yep. And he said later on that he was struggling with addiction at the time, and he said, I reached the point where I had to choose between baseball and life.
Really?
So sounds like he failed the drug test. That's what it sounds like. He said, over the last few years, I have been contemplating retirement. So with mixed emotions and slight remorse, the day has finally come when I will no longer be playing Major League Baseball. My physical condition is good, so while I'm still in good health, I've decided to retire. I'm going to miss my fans, the players, and all the people associated with baseball. I must reiterate to my fans that you will always hold a special place in my heart. And he said, all the glorious moments I've shared with you and my fellow teammates will stay with me the rest of my life. And Oakland A's said that they're sorry Vita's not going to be playing this season, but we respect his decision and we wish him well. That's 88. He would have at least went to the World Series that year. So there you go. He said in an autobiography published in 2011, he said that he struggled with substance abuse for much of his career. Didn't start in fucking 83 like they acted like. He said, along with the glory I'd achieved, there was a growing darkness reaching for me, and the light began to dim as early as 1972.
Oh, my.
When he had a couple of bucks and he was popular, and yeah.
And he
that'll
was
do it.
Deep embedded in it by 79 then, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. And then by 83, forget about it. So February 8th, 88, here is when he wants to, he's contacting people. He wants to come back, he said, again. But not in the majors. He contacted, yes, in the majors. He's contacted 4 teams and said Japan is also an option.
Okay.
He says, I feel strongly I will pitch this season. I feel good. My arm feels good. I'm ready. Ready to fucking roll. They said, would you play in Japan? He said, not closing any doors. That's all. Don't give a fuck, man. Going to play. He said, I do it. They said, what about this? Did you have a positive drug test and all that? And he said, quote, I'd rather not get into that. The past is behind me, and I'm trying to stay positive and surround myself with positive people.
Sir.
Yes, is what that means. Absolutely.
I'd rather not get into that. Why wouldn't you want to get into it if it wasn't a positive test?
No shit.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Oh, by the way, he only did 81 days out of his 90 in jail. They made him do 81. So that's tough. He said he's willing to include a drug clause in a contract with any prospective team. He said, I found that trying to get back into baseball can be a humbling experience. There's a lot of politics in this game, believe me. The whole approach baseball has to drugs is kind of a double message. On one hand, baseball frowns on marijuana and cocaine use, but then you see all the endorsements for beer and you have to wonder.
Okay.
He says it's almost like they're saying it's okay to drink as long as you don't do the other stuff. I think they should start worrying a little more about alcohol. Alcohol is a bigger problem than anything else, which, there's more people doing it. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's considered fine, especially in baseball.
Shit, yeah.
That's getting shit-faced and having crazy antics, that's considered just boys will be boys, good fun.
Of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, he was talking about he wants to write a book. He said, nobody should be afraid of signing me. In a way, I'm glad the things that have happened to me happened. You have to accept a problem before you can be treated. And in that way, I'm lucky because there are some guys in baseball who haven't accepted that they have a problem yet. He said that he's spent time in rehab in Orange County in a drug and alcohol unit. And he said the experience has made him interested in helping others who have drug problems. He's good now.
Yeah.
He said last year he worked with a friend who runs a chemical dependency center in Minneapolis. He said, I believe everything that happens to you happens for a reason. I've benefited from what's happened to me. He said, and I can still pitch too.
Yeah.
He said, one of the teams I've talked to said their sources reported I look good. I don't know what that means, but I don't know who their sources are, but I was optimistic. I really think I'll be playing baseball again this season. And he certainly doesn't at all.
Very optimistic, though.
It's
was
not
he on
bad.
coke or something?
He's feeling all sorts of... He's
energetic.
Getting these, yeah,
a lot of
grandeur, visions of grandeur, coke stuff.
Yeah, a lot of I can do it.
Oh, he does. He did pitch during the Dream Game on Sunday of this week. The Dream Game is the 72 Reds and the 72 A's playing each other.
Okay.
Guys who weren't in the league anymore. They played to a 4-4 10-inning tie because the Reds ran out of pitchers.
Okay.
They used 4 pitchers. The A's used 8. Vida recorded the only strikeout for A's pitchers as well.
Very anticlimactic day.
No shit. Jesus, that sounds boring as fuck. Watch these old guys play, and then it's over and nobody won. Yay.
10 extra innings of this shit.
No shit. He then played in the Senior Professional Baseball Association in 88 and 90, which we've talked about several times. Yeah. That was pretty sad. A lot of just teams in Florida, basically. Yeah. There's 8 teams in Florida, just Jacksonville playing fucking West Palm over and over again.
I've seen an old-timers game at the Surprise Stadium years ago. Catfish Hunter was there.
Yeah, they're fun if it's like good players in an old-timey game. Too. They're good shit. Yeah, they can be good. So he said he's become active in charity work, and he's talking to a lot of people about substance addiction. He's doing well. He moved to the Twain Harte area of California, which is in the Sierra Nevada foothills.
What?
Him and his wife? Yeah, we'll talk about this. He gets married, by the way. He gets a job as a baseball analyst for NBC Sports Bay Area, which is the TV home of the San Francisco Giants.
Local affiliate.
And in September of 89, he gets married on the pitcher's mound at Candlestick Park.
Oh, that's great.
He goes old school with his new wife. Peggy Shannon is her name, who sounds like she's from the 50s. Peggy Shannon, wow. Sounds like she'd be marrying Blue Moon Odom.
Yeah. Sounds like 2 daughters in a show in the 80s, though.
Peggy and Shannon. Willie McCovey's his best man. Orlando Cepeda gave away Shannon there.
Peggy Shannon.
Peggy Shannon, yep. They had twin girls and a son and 2 other daughters. So they had, I think that's 5 kids altogether. Twin girls, a son, 2 more daughters.
Yeah.
The son's name is Derek, though. So he does not go the third. Yep. Yeah. 92 to 95, he's eligible for the Hall of Fame and consideration for the Hall of Fame. His highest vote percentage he gets is 8.7% in 1993.
No chance.
That's it. No way. So he's removed from the ballot in 95 because he doesn't have a certain number of votes. So he's removed. Great. He's one of these guys who's a really good pitcher, but not a Hall of Fame pitcher. It's plenty of guys like that. 1996, he and his wife divorce.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's not going great. He's not getting in the Hall of Fame. Him and Peggy are getting a divorce.
Peggy Shannon's had enough of his shit.
Oh, man, yeah. Peggy Shannon's had plenty of his bullshit, and fucking she's not calling him True Blue for a fact here. So he's having some problems, obviously, and, at this point, his career in his mind ended a little early, not of his own volition. He feels like he kind of got forced out. So, he's had some problems. Now he's divorced. You kind of feel bad for the guy at this point.
Certainly,
sad guy. You do. You feel bad for him, but not nearly as bad as we feel for Vida Blue, IT specialist at Susquehanna Bank in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Okay. Vida Blue, academic counselor at San Jose University, Sunnyvale, California. And finally, Vida Blue, a blonde chick named Vida Blue, who's a marketing campaign manager in San Diego, California.
Every one of them named after him, though. Every one of them.
Have to be, right?
Yeah.
I would think. Why wouldn't you?
You don't land on
Blue?
That name. You've
Vida?
never landed on that name.
It's got to be after him. It has to be. Especially to San Jose University from California. Sure. That's Vida. Why wouldn't it be Vida? It's Vida. The girl, I don't know. But still, what the fuck? So August 2nd, 1999, he's got some problems here because he doesn't drive well from here on out here. He's going to have to plead innocent to a misdemeanor drunk driving charge. Oh. He's pulled over while speeding on Interstate 580 in his 1999 Lincoln Town car. Okay. So that's good. It's brand new anyway. That's helpful. Yeah. He's pulled over. He was... he at this point is the community representative for the Giants. That's his job title.
Really?
He told officers he's returning from a golf tournament. He said he drank about 2 or 3 beers in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you're basic there, which means about 9 or 10 beers. Kind of lost count.
I've been there all day.
Oh, yeah. He failed 5 field sobriety tests and had a blood alcohol level of 0.11, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Major league player, he could probably get by on that, but still against the law. So, yeah, he gets arrested, taken in, obviously, and his lawyer said that he's embarrassed by the situation. Quote, he's a very busy guy who does a lot with the Giants and with kids.
He's always running around.
He has no time to sober up, is what we're telling you. It's because he's busy. He wanted to sober up, but he just didn't. That's the problem. So he ends up pleading no contest to that, and he'll end up going to a rehab. Yeah, he goes to a rehab for 30 days and does all that shit. And this will keep coming up, by the way. Definitely. There's a lawsuit here in February 2003 where a bunch of sports stars are named in a lawsuit for a drug called Zenetics, Znetix, Zenetics Inc. I guess they're former sports stars Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Vida Blue, and Eric Dickerson are among 41 defendants in a lawsuit stemming from the collapse of Zenetix Inc., the biggest stock fraud case in Washington state history.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. According to the lawsuit, the company's court-appointed receiver, the defendants did little to stop Zenetics co-founder Kevin Lawrence from misusing corporate funds. The directors and officers acted in bad faith in a way they knew or should have known they were not performing their duties in a manner that was in the best interest of Zenetics. Nonetheless, they continued to serve and accept compensation from Zenetics, all the while burying their heads in the sand and ignoring flagrant wrongful acts going on around them. Now, you know what this is?
No.
In my opinion, this is a drug company that's probably some supplement type of thing.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of athletes and hired them to sit on their board. That's what they do with these companies. We'll hire you to sit on your board.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? Nothing. Your name's on shit. Right. The picture of you is on a prospectus. That's it. That's what you are.
Help me get more money that I can run through.
They don't go to meetings and look over the books. They don't know what the fuck that is. They get a salary for using your name on a board.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not showing up to a board meeting.
And talking, well, let me ask you this. What are you putting in this particular tablet? It's fucking ridiculous.
What are the side effects?
I guess people have pleaded guilty. 4 people have pleaded guilty in what investigators say was a scheme. Wow. That bilked as much as $91 million from more than 5,000 investors.
Holy.
The lawyers said the investors were told that Zenetics and health maintenance centers developed proprietary medical and fitness software and equipment, essentially combining medical centers with fitness clubs. Instead, they were accused of squandering much of the money on dozens of luxury automobiles, boats, jewelry, and Hawaiian real estate. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. That's wild. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dickerson, and Michael Johnson also involved in that. Oh. They were all representatives on the Zenetics board. Exactly what I said. Mm-hmm. Yes, the board. Yep. That's the shit. So, April 2004... he's got another problem. In 2003, he gets a DUI on Highway 101. Yeah, so another DUI in California. He's going to be placed on 2 years probation after pleading no contest to the 2003 charge here. As part of that,
you got to be fucked up to get a DUI on the 101. You are doing 12 mile an hour at best.
At best. Or if it's the middle of the night, you're going 200. So you really got to be fucked up there, too. As part of this, he's supposed to report to a 20-day work program, but never showed up for it, by the way. And we'll get into some of the details of this in a second. July 15th, 2004, Bobblehead Day. It's Bobblehead Day here. They said, get to the yard early and be one of the just 15,000 fans to get their very own Vida Blue bobblehead. It's a delightful, diminutive likeness of this Bay Area icon. They talk about the 71 season. Then owner Charlie O'Finley tried to get Vida to change his name to True Blue, but Vida thought it rang false. This bobblehead responds honestly to all true and false questions. Nodding. It's a bobblehead. That's a terrible joke. But that's fucking fine. So March 13th, 2005, he is arrested again for DUI.
Vida.
Yes, at this time it's in Scottsdale during spring training, and he's out, probably going to a titty bar or something afterwards or whatever. Got in a minor accident in Scottsdale.
Really?
I think it was Old Town because they said downtown Scottsdale, but I think they mean Old Town. That's Old Town. So he's in Old Town at the bars and got an offender bender, and he got arrested for it because he got a DUI. So
bumped into somebody's fucking Mercedes.
Yep, bumped into some dummy's shit, and that's what you get. Probably some blonde kid.
Yeah.
So May 17th, 2005, they said that he could avoid prison time, because this is like his 4th DUI in 5 years, I want to say.
Oh, my.
They can avoid prison time with a treatment program.
Uh-huh. What year was this?
This was 2005.
Yeah, they're taking DUIs in Scottsdale mad serious at that time.
Fuck yeah. Well, this is in California, this one, I believe.
Oh, the one on the 101.
Because this is from those, because he's got, in Arizona, he only has one. He's got like 4 in California, or 3. So he's sentenced. He did not complete his probation in the last one. So he is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off, 6 months in jail for that.
Okay.
They said he can avoid the incarceration by spending time in a residential alcohol treatment program. They said he needs to work out the terms of his treatment with the probation department, or he has to go to jail. Those are his options here. Okay. His attorney said Mr. Blue takes full responsibility that he's in violation of his probation. Okay. Under the terms of his agreement, he was not allowed to go drink alcohol or go to liquor stores or bars.
Yeah, that's part of it.
That's tough. He's also subject to alcohol testing, and he has a fucking device in his car, too, that he has to blow into as well. He's been a community representative for the Giants for 15 years as well at this point. Wow. Yep. They said Vida wants to take some time and tackle these personal issues. This is the Giants talking about it. Yeah. He would hope that the fans would stick by him and give him the opportunity to get through this. So, yeah, this is he's got a lot here. He's got a lot going on. So he's going to move to Tracy, California as well.
Oh, no.
Which I don't know what the fuck he's moving there for, but
that's
whatever.
Out in the middle of nowhere, right? That's up near Sacramento, Bakersfield?
Yeah, that's something like that. His lawyer, though, and he says not once has anyone heard Vida blame his problems on anyone other than himself. That's the thing. He always fight. He says, I did it, and I want to step up. Yeah. He said, quote, if I want to be a man, I have to accept what I do. That means everything, the good and the bad. We all know I'm not perfect, but who is?
Good point.
That's fair and hard to argue with here. Yeah. So he ends up, like I said, not doing the 20-day thing and all of that. He does, though, end up being back in contact with his son, Derek. Derek and him did not have a good relationship, and he doesn't talk to Derek for years.
Really?
Yes. And then a little later on, during this era, when he's having problems, Derek comes back into his life. And Derek even said that, the alcohol and the drugs and all that, he goes, that's kind of baseball.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't really blame my dad. He said, when I was younger, I went down to a rehab facility in L.A., and I don't know if my dad took it real serious. People said afterward, it's over. You can have a beer now when he gets out of rehab.
He's got things, too.
So no, this is Derek saying he went down to visit his dad down there and didn't think he was taking it too seriously. Yeah. People laughed at Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin for hitting a home run drunk or getting in a barroom brawl. It's just not accepted behavior now. Yeah. Derek said that, it was hard on him. He had to change high schools because when his dad was having problems, people would make fun of him and taunt him for it and shit, because that was during the whole cocaine thing. He said at one point the friction between he and his father actually caused an end to his relationship with a woman. She couldn't take them always fighting and him always talking about it, and she dumped him for it and everything. So he also said that, he's been depressed after his dad got in another DUI during spring training. It depressed him. He said he doesn't understand, what it is, but he thinks he gets it. Derek said, quote, he's got great people skills, and I think that's been a downfall.
Yeah, he's very social. And social abilities lead to social behavior.
Well, he also says people have let him get away with more. Because he's good with people. People come to me and say, he's a great guy. He took us out drinking and partying.
Great guy.
Great guy. Derek says, I cringe. That's what's wrong with being professional athletes, my dad included. People are always telling them, you're right, you're right, you're right. It's a fantasy world. Let me get you a couple drinks. It's on me or it's on the house. Yeah. It's true. Always looking to have, because they want you to sit there, because then that draws attention to them. He said, when I was younger, he went down there and he was talking about the beer thing, and he was like, it was fucking crazy. He said, Derek, though, really wants his dad to get his shit together. He says they don't often speak, but he's hoping that, that it'll come around. Derek said about Vida, his legacy means a lot to people. People like him. They come up to me and tell me stories and say they never heard a negative word about him. But he's in the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame and has left a pretty good impression. So, yeah, he said at one point, one of his friends here, one of Vida's friends, said when his son called him to wish him Happy Father's Day and they hadn't talked in a long time, he said he was the happiest he'd ever seen Vida in his life.
Really?
He said, Vida told me, quote, "You won't believe it, but Derek called me and wished me a Happy Father's Day." He said Vida looked like he just threw a no-hitter. He looked so happy. He was so excited. So not too bad here for Vida, but now he's starting to have problems now, too, because even physical problems are starting to get to him a little bit. He's okay, but, he's starting to get a little sore.
Yeah, older.
And, that might make you want to have a couple of drinks at the end of the day, too.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does.
It'll happen. So he ends up there. He ends up in Tracy, California.
Yeah.
Where is Tracy?
It's up near Sacramento, I think.
Okay, I thought it was like northern.
It's a drive. It's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours from San Fran.
Is that one of those places where every guy you see looks like a wannabe MMA fighter?
Probably.
With like dumb facial hair and too many tattoos.
Probably.
And like a fucking novelty facial hair tattoos and
it's what Californians consider like backwoods California, right? It's like desert.
Well, it is. It's like Jared Wyatt territory.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. Yeah,
it's not good.
Not a great area up there. Yeah, a lot of it's casino area of California.
Yeah.
That's the bad part. If you're around a casino, that's probably bad. It's not good. Yeah, casinos don't put houses up or casinos up usually in the best neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They're not like a casino. There's no Brentwood Casino for a reason, but there is one in outside Tracy, I bet. Yeah.
There is one in Morongo, California.
Yes, as we know, we passed all these. As we pass to it, whenever we take these road trips, we pass and we go, who the fuck goes there?
Why would you? How?
I know we're on a trip, but let's lose a bunch of money so we can then be fucking upset in the car for another 2 hours on the way.
We're almost to L.A. Should we just stop?
Want to just stop in the middle of a trip for a few hours? Cool. Either
Wilson
that or
Phillips is playing.
Yeah, either that or that's their destination. That's the sad part. Either that or that's their destination because, fucking Sir Mix-a-Lot's there. That's the problem.
Because Bill Engvall's got a new hour. Let's
wow,
stop.
This is impressive. Paul Rodriguez is still doing comedy. Excellent. Very good.
How about that?
Holy shit. So Vida stays pretty quiet after this. After 2007, he's kind of like, he works for the Giants on and off because all that sort of thing. But
home.
Yeah, no more DUIs. Yeah. There is a scrap at some point. I can't find much on it, but and Ian had a hard time with it too, and I couldn't find anything. So if the two of us can't find it, it's not there. It's somewhere out there, I'm sure, but it was difficult. Only references to the fact that he had a physical altercation with a neighbor at some point in this time period. Some kind of fight with a neighbor where the police were called and there was some kind of something, but he didn't bash the guy's head in and jump on top of him, start slamming him into the road or anything. It was just kind of I'd like to see Vida get mad and kick somebody's ass, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You call me true, motherfucker? Just start taking swings at him and shit. That would be fun. And then May 6th, 2023. So extremely recently, within the last 2 months here, he dies.
Vida.
Vida's dead at 73.
That's
died
early, right?
I mean, it can be. It can be.
How much booze and coke you done?
That too. He died at a hospital in San Francisco's East Bay from medical complications stemming from cancer. So he's had a hard time lately, and he looked rough the last few years. They said that he looked real skinny, and he used a walking stick during the 50th anniversary of the A's 73 championship team. He came a month before he died.
Yeah.
Using the walking stick. Reggie Jackson, who was there, he said, quote, he was engaging, he was personable, he was caring, he was uncomfortable with the crowd. Which, he said, quote, when he saw him at the 50th anniversary reunion, he said, I did not recognize him. I was shattered. I was shaken. That will stick with me for the rest of my life. He looked terrible, apparently. Yeah. And, Yep. Jackson said, quote, "We were very young kids, Vida from Louisiana and black, and me being black in a white league and in a white world was very impactful as to how you handled yourself, how you acted, because you were always colored first." And so, yeah, there's Vida Blue. Like I said, Bay Area Hall of Fame, but never the Baseball Hall of Fame. Yeah. That's one of those guys. He's got a cool name. He was a cool pitcher, a lefty who threw hard and pitched for championship teams. And like I said, if you're a baseball fan, you know his name and you know all of that. But he didn't quite get the accolades. Yeah, he was that 71 season though. Really, you could compare that to like when Fernando Valenzuela came up and they had Fernando Mania, or when fucking Ohtani's first year when they went nuts for him and fucking all these things. That was 71 for Vida. Right. He was
he could have been drafted by the Expos or I guess the Royals weren't in existence yet. Is that what happened?
The Expos, I think 60 would have just started. The Royals,
be awesome if they just called
started.
that blue. Vida Blue, that'd be rad, right?
Oh, that'd be cool. The Royal Blue. Make a new color, slightly off, and call it Vida Blue. That would be badass. That would have been cool as shit.
They could have had been a whole fucking legend there. But he had no idea he was going to be that good. Nobody knew he was going to be that good.
No one knew. Who the fuck know? How do you fucking know you're going to be that good at baseball? Like, these guys, some of them are phenoms, and they suck in the majors. And then some of these guys, they don't expect shit for, and they're Hall of Famers. So. And
Finley maybe ruined the poor guy, too.
Oh, yeah. Finley ruined him.
He could have been something so big and so spectacular anywhere else.
If he was supported by a team who gave a shit about their players and didn't treat them like fucking racehorses, actually worse than racehorses.
Yeah, treat them like they want to win and like winning matters and winning's important to them and they want to have a franchise. It feels like Finley used that place as just to pay his mortgage and shit and have a bigger and bigger house.
And that's how great those fucking players were, that they won 3 World Series regardless of
the money they were
on
making.
the cheap. Because when they're cheap like that just the whole attitude just it trickles down through the whole system, the whole entire organization. They all act fucking.
Anything's unaffordable. What's the word? Inexpensive. When anything's cheap like that, it feels disposable. You can just throw it away. Nobody cares because I can buy another one for the same price.
And the salaries are one thing, but he nickeled and dimed shit too, and that drives them nuts. I remember Rod telling me teams he played for, you could tell the difference, and the players liked playing for certain teams because they put out good food before the games and after the games.
Right.
Some teams were cheap. He said before the last ownership in the late 90s that the Cubs owned it, whoever owned the Cubs, he said they were cheap as fuck. He said they would bring in a shitload of you'd come in the morning for a day game, and they just put a pile of Egg McMuffins out for people.
Gross.
It's like, it's not
food.
Give them a bunch of sodium, and then they're going to run around and play. Like, get a chef in there, make some fucking eggs for these guys. You know what I mean? This is your team. These are your racehorses. Would you feed your racehorse shit, or would you feed them something good? That's what you get.
Chemicals in me to play this game. It's crazy.
He said Boston, it's steak and fucking shrimp and lobster and shit. San Francisco is the same way, but some of these teams are cheap as fuck, and that's just the way it is.
Well, the lobster in Boston to them was probably the same price as a McMuffin because when it's plentiful, it's cheap.
Hopefully, it wasn't from Legal Seafood, where
gross.
Guys would have fucking streaks running down their white uniform pants for the rest of the day.
For 9 innings.
So anyway, there you go. Yeah. That's Vida Blue. If you enjoyed Vida Blue, or if you enjoy any goddamn one episode, if you've enjoyed a single episode we've ever done, get on Apple Podcasts or whatever the fuck you're on. I don't know what you people listen to shit on. Whatever you're listening to podcasts on, there's always a way to review. Rate and review. It helps a lot. Give us 5 stars, by the way, like we had to tell you that. But do that. It helps us. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows. August 12th. Yeah. We're in Chicago, which we're excited for. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be our biggest show ever. Get your tickets. Also, we are in Dallas, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Philly. DC, I think, just sold out, so you missed that one. Sorry about that. Get your tickets there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Follow us on social media. Yes, San Diego's next. We can't wait. We're psyched. Follow us on social media. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Yeah. You certainly, by the way, any kind of suggestions or anything like that, we are, what is it? Research at Crime and Sports?
Research at Crime and Research at shutupandgivememurder.com.
Shutupandgivememurder.com. Well, that's for Small Town Murder, though.
But you could drop it there, too.
You could drop it there.
Would it matter?
I think Allison would be kind enough to forward them. Yeah, it'd be okay. So, yeah, do that. Follow us. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. Definitely get Patreon, though. That is required reading here. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody, all it takes is $5 a month or above. If you're in that range, anybody over $5 a month, you're going to get all sorts of shit. Yeah. First of all, you get a shout out. And then second of all, you get everything, every goddamn bonus episode we've ever made or will ever make. There's a couple hundred to go back and check out and binge on, a couple hundred bonuses and new ones every other week. How can you beat that? God damn it.
You can't.
You can't beat it. That's right. It's not beatable. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And this week, like I said, is no goddamn different. What you're going to get this week for your money is for crime and sports. This is a fun one. We're going to talk about theme park disasters.
And boy, are they, disasters.
It's just crazy carnage and wild shit that goes on and just people being flippant with human life. Just put it that way. Just not
there will be
safety to the wind. Who gives a shit? And then for small town murder, very similar. We're going to talk about prison riots.
Oh, there will be blood.
Which is just an amusement park crammed into a much smaller place, I guess, in terms of bloodiness.
More park.
Less amusement, more blood. So that's what we're going to talk about. That's patreon.com/crime and sports. And you get a shout out, like we said. When the fuck is that shout out coming? Right goddamn now. Jimmie, please, please, please hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever try to make us change our name to something stupid just because it would be fun for them. Hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producers are Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, Amelie Olson, Sharon Jones, and her daughter, who James has scarlet fever. Did you know that still exists? It does.
Is she going to get the rubella next? What the fuck? What year is this? I'm so sorry. I hope you're...
Take care of your baby. Jesus Christ. I don't even know how to treat that.
Poor kid's got the cholera.
Brandy Huntley, Carmen Brown, and Anna Marie, thank you all so much for being a part of this. You're fantastic. Other producers this week are Cassie Wade, Georgia Lipton, Janice Hill, Scott Atanasio. Thanks, Scott. That was very nice of you. Trav with no last name, Daniel Kuchta. All right. Ben Cram.
Sweet Trav. Sorry.
Travis.
Sweet Trav.
Kayla, it's definitely Kayla. Maria Thompson, Jess Stevenson, JT, no last name. Henter Nashe Sowers maybe. Alexander Ray, Marissa Goss, not gross. Jenny Jean, Meg with no last name. Rachel O'Brien, Zoe Daverine, Deanna Pitcher, KJ Beck, Spencer Howard, TK Turner, Caitlin Cook, Kelly Moriarty, John Wilkins, AMH,
that's your name, right?
MAH, Brandy Padgham, Michelle Shaw, Lisa Hodgkin, so Bob funny. Johnson, Beth Bewley. All right, Gregory Riffle,
close,
maybe not.
Hopefully,
Callie
possibly.
Davis, TD, no last name. Maury Mech. Megan Robbins, it's 1B, but it's still Robbins. Robert Huff, Deidre Heritage, Summer Foxy, Amara Sagala, oh boy, Elise, Ilse Manor, Brandy with no last name, Johanna with no last name, Ashley Mick Comiskey, Lindsay with no last name. It's a if McDonald's owned Comiskey Park.
I was going to say, is that Irish? Polish?
Super Irish Polish.
Are you? I'm Irish and Polish. The fuck is that? I've never heard of a McSkee before. McSkee, really? Wow.
Haley Smith, Jennifer Russell, Alicia Woodworth, Edna Millay, Joe Hartwell, Tony Hunt, Her Grace Kate, Fish Bowl, Carolyn with no last name, Joshua Muscat, Katie Zoni, Kimberly with no last name, Christian with no last name, Lou Wentz, David Guadet, I think, George Miller, Mike Morris, Rebecca Moore, Doug Craig, Jordan Hellman, Alyssa Rector. Killed her. Well,
barely know her.
Yeah. Corey Smith, Don Tomczyk, Diana Plunkett, Konstantinos, Tsakananos, suck on this.
Wow.
Sakanonis, Sokonis.
Some Greek shit. Talk to McSkee and find out what's up with him.
Journeyan, what is this? Jernine Cook, Lauren Forey, nice. Charity Hebert, Derek Avery, Robin Fitzwater, Jada Potler, Steffi Delics, Eve Dixon.
Like psychedelics.
You betcha. Anthony Parks, Rebecca Herring, Linda N., Kate LaLuna. Boy, these are getting tougher and tougher. James Patini, Amon Parks, Ammon like Bundy. John Tomachik, that's not a C. Thomas Ick, Eric Anderson, Mackenzie S., Denise McAfee, Jessica Clark, Lisa Ferreri,
I think is probably what it is. I bet you it's Ferreri.
G. Skalka, Cassie O'Brien, Tony Legg, Carol Abbas, Aaron Guile maybe, Claude Cavallo, Chadsworth, Goldsmith, Kira Lynn, Kayla Ridge, Chuck, with no last name, Lindsay Weithup, Eddie Drama Mama, Melissa Gibson, Robin Cook, Peter Slater, Joe Jacoby, B. Mungo, Christine Snyder, Douglas Hilberger, Mandy McKinney, Becky Lou Forbes. Becky Lou Forbes, I think. Brooke Wright, Colby with no last name. Brandon McLeod, Samantha Chandler, Rachel Adams, Sarah Tosti, Scott Caveman, Hannah Potato Check, H&M, Sarah Nielsen.
Listen, I'm sorry, Potato Lady. I don't know what he's talking about.
Potato Chick.
Potato Chick.
Potato Chip. I don't know. Sean Hilton, Dixie Shaw, Carrie Hines, Kara Baker, Sarah Moranville. What? Moranville. I don't know. Might be Moronville. I don't know. Sabrina Newberg.
We're not going to judge.
It's a great place. Aaron Taylor, Rachel with no last name. I'm the smartest man there. Birdie 13, Douglas Hare, Jelena Post.
Sorry.
Aaron Mastrogiacomo. Aaron Master Antonio. Upshift 26, Laurel Payton. Megs with no last name, Kathy Heaslip. Sarah Sutterfield, Sam Odemkirk, Odemankin.
What?
Odemankin. All right. Antonio Madrigal, Richard Sparks. That's a tough one. Chrissy Norton, Ricky B. Austin Shao, Sadie Mays. Justice with no last name, Amanda Desch. Matthew Shields, SRT Bryan. Xana Roth, Stevie Boyle, Lonnie Picard II, not a junior. Stacy Stevens, Michael Shanahan. Addison Jack. Julie Fresh, Danker Sand. Okay, Garrett Burton, Jimmy G. Oh, Jimmy effing up names is my favorite part.
Good.
Well, there's a whole other show happening, so that Austin Schrader.
That's pretty sad, honestly.
Kristen Gilliam, Angie. You don't like Master Antonio, James? Come on, I'm digging deep.
Okay. You know, I know you guys are comedians. You tell a lot of jokes and everything like that, but I like it to hear when a grown man struggles to read. That's not insulting.
I like
not your craft that you put
can't
together or anything like that.
Letters.
Yeah. The most insulting compliment ever. I hate that.
Gilliam, Angie, Lilgeros, E.M., Aaron Dick, Adam Kovanovic, all right, Kovanovic, Juan Moorhead, Amanda Sacksmacker, Zachary Harrington, Samantha Maynard, Janine Molbeck, Kyle with no last name, Jordan Mosier, Shaquille Richmond, Natasha Lynn, Anna Smock, Danon Giskara, Caitlin Teague, Jessica Sylvia, Pam Jaspers, Bree Thomas, Daniel Foe, Zach, nope, that's Scott, Stoudemeyer, Carter M, Tears Baker, Jeremy with no last name, Kimberly Cochran, Riley Jones, Sue Zinger, and all of our patrons. Truly, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much for all that you do for us. We really, really hope you love the bonus stuff. We love putting it out. Thanks for supporting us.
Yep.
Thanks for putting up with our shit for so long, and thanks for always supporting the show and being the people that make the show fucking go. Let's be honest. If you're listening right now,
Yeah.
You're one of
Make
those
that happen,
people.
Captain.
You're fucking awesome. So
Thank
thank you. You didn't shut it off as soon as the story was over. You kept listening to our babble. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. You want to follow us on social media, you can do that. Just go to shutupandgivememurder.com. Links to everything there. Keep coming back over and over. You can't keep us away from it, goddammit. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.